Well, hello, folks. As I get started here, why is it not picking up? There we go. Hey guys on my channel, if you guys are hearing me okay and want to just maybe give me a shout and let me know, that would be great. Oh Jesus, somebody just messaged me. There's a, I'll put it in chat.
What? Okay.
Did you see the message I just got?
Right there, Exegius?
Yeah, I think I saw that one.
Okay.
But maybe.
Well, we're all on now, so I don't know if everyone's on. I think
Yep.
I think we are.
On.
Yep.
times here.
Yep, I think
So
we
this
are.
perfect entrance and whatnot
Oh,
else. We
good.
definitely
Oh,
have
okay,
a proper intro, right?
Yeah,
We should
well,
come
we're
up with a
all here
proper
now.
intro, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, whatever works, this works.
We could be a little, I
It's
guess,
all good, isn't it?
heaven forbid we be, like, come together and official, right?
Well, hey, we kind of represent the community in a larger scale, I suppose. So, well, trying our best to be, a good thing and whatnot else. Anyways, so greetings then to everyone who's watching, listening in on my end, Obsidians or Exegiuses or Proxims, and so yeah. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful Friday and all that stuff. So, well, we're going to be discussing a little bit what little there is to be discussed about the Elite Dangerous Beyond series, Horizons Season Pass, the 3.1,
Chapter 2.
2, yes, there we go. Fucking hell. Seriously, they should... I understand developers and whatnot else are not the greatest people at coming up with names, but seriously, they have marketing teams for crying out loud. Anyways, that's just me nitpicking things. So
Go to
anyways.
the next chapter.
Oh, yeah,
Gotta keep the Beyond tagline.
Then we have like Elite Dangerous Horizon Season or another season name insert here. Beyond or something, another prefix, Space Legs update, something. Anyways, that aside. Well, there's plenty of things I suppose we could discuss, and you know what? Since the last time, Proxim didn't really speak that much. Yes,
Imagine that.
Proxim, you start us off on a small little change, perhaps, that you found interesting, or at least the first change from the patch we got.
Well, I'll just talk about the crate for a brief moment then. Because,
Seriously, you want to jump into that already?
well, I'm going to start with that because it's
At
first
least-
and foremost in my mind.
I've got
a
at
lot
least
of
take the
mixed
easy,
opinions.
take the easy the hard topic.
Well, I've got a lot of mixed opinions on this one because a lot of people are like, "This thing is amazing and it's great." Blah 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 blah. Me personally, I don't know. I'm not convinced. I'm actually having more trouble with that ship than I am. Like an unmodified crate, I'm having more trouble with that ship than I am with an unmodified Challenger, for instance. It just, I don't know if that ship and I just don't agree with each other or what. But combat-wise, I'm thinking it's a little overhyped because that thing is pissing me off. General purpose and a lot of other things, though, it seems to do quite well. High jump range. You can outfit the thing to do damn near anything you want. Pretty much like the Python, Conda, etc. It seems to do okay as an anti-Xeno, in an anti-Xeno setup. I haven't really tested that out too much just yet. And I don't have access to the Guardian weapons to really give that a true go, so I'm stuck using AX multi-cannons, flak, and the missiles, but it seems to do just fine for the most part so far.
You know what I hear? I
What?
hear that Proxim needs to get good.
You know what I hear?
Oh man, starting off good
I
today.
hear Yamix is a little bitch.
Oh, bitch.
Oh wait. So one of those is a
I'm not
revelation.
thinking about it.
Seems like one of those is a
Well,
revelation, and one's we've known forever.
Wonder which one's which, huh?
I don't know. I was just
well.
thinking the same thing.
Well, hey, at least I can destroy a fucking Cyclops with AX weapons. I am not complaining about that, see? Yeah.
But no, the ship is, like, it seems fine. I just don't really like it for combat, which I think is kind of a shame. Smuggling, it'll do really well. I don't know if anyone's tried this yet, but try spooling up the FSD while you're still fuel scooping, and you'll come out the other side without even overheating and jumping to the next system almost immediately. Like, that thing can jump between systems like no one's business, and I'm kind of in love with it for that. Like, it's kind of nice. You know, I don't know. My impressions here is the thing's not much of a fighter, but it'll be one hell of a smuggler and cargo runner.
Yeah. I think I'll probably use it as an exploration ship as well, quite possibly.
Boy,
Yeah,
I have a
blame you,
different opinion.
Sure, why not? Let's just, there's nothing better to talk about for intro. Sure, let's just talk about the biggest thing in the fucking patch. Let's just pop the cork right. I mean, what will people have to watch afterwards? Seriously.
Well, we'll talk about
everything?
Where's the cocktails?
Everyone wants to talk about that.
No, fucking fine. XCGS, you had something to say, so go.
Well, I guess I would say that I'm going to be basically completely disagree with Proxim. Now, that said, I'll preface by saying, what is this unengineered you speak of? I had modules ready to go, so I haven't flown it unengineered yet. So I'll preface with that. But so far, I find it actually. I mean, I've only had 2 or 3 fights in it, but I find it absolutely fantastic for combat. To me, I see it as a more maneuverable gunship with better hardpoint placement, or I freaking love the 2 mediums hanging right there visually. It's just, they're so beautiful to see. I don't use multi-cannons much, but I threw a set on just so I could watch them fire and sat there for a minute or 2 watching them fire and loved it. I think it's super maneuverable. The visibility is fantastic, and I've so far I've only flown it as a hull tank, where it was similar to, say, it felt similar to, say, a Chieftain, maybe a Faz in terms of armor. But what I played with last night, and I haven't had a fight like this yet, but I unlocked one of the surprises. I don't think any of us knew this was coming, the Guardian Shield module and hull reinforcements. And with
they showcased it in the
did
stream,
they?
But
okay.
Beside that, no.
Yeah, okay, but the stream right before launch. Correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And so once I stacked it with shield reinforcements, which I think is going to be seemingly a new meta for shield, and thank God, because we definitely needed something for shields. And I went with cell banks without a fighter bay, granted, and which you would want, but I was easily able to get just shy of 4,000 megajoules of shields out of it, right? Which is more than an FDL. It's at least as maneuverable. It's got more DPS. You've got a fighter. I was expecting to like the Challenger much more, since I've flown the Chieftain for PvP for the last several months, or actually since release. And I flew it once and was like, am I in a Chieftain or a Challenger? Because if you didn't tell me, I wouldn't know the difference. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic, and obviously we'll see a lot of it because it just released, but I think we're going to see, like, the Chieftain in PvP, it's around and everything, but it was around a lot, obviously, at first. I think the Krait's going to really stick around in PvP. Right. But
in PvP.
As I prefaced with, I have not flown it unengineered yet, so that
Unengineered, the shields are absolute trash. Like,
okay, so
trash.
to give you concrete facts here. So first of all, it's Python. Krait is a motherfucking Python. That's all it is. It has less shields. It has less armor. It has faster, straight line speed, and very slightly better pitch speed. That's it. Everything else is the fucking same.
Higher
of course,
DPS.
internal.
Because of the fighter.
No, the
No.
DPS
Because of
between
the
the
fighter.
Python and
Oh
the
yeah,
Krait are the
fighter.
same.
Fighter.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Fighter.
yeah, the
You
fighter.
preface it with that, yeah, sure.
Right.
Fine.
And remember, in
That
PvP,
case, yeah,
that's a
you're
huge difference because you've got something that can constantly keep your enemy's shields from regenning with the fighter. So that is,
Yep.
I mean, it's a really big difference, right?
Yep. Okay. So in that case, yeah, it definitely will be better in that case. But the issue is mostly with the fact that it's still a Python, yeah, and well, Python in PvP, well, Python in itself is pretty decent, sure, yeah. If you hull tank it properly, yeah, it'll sustain the damage quite well. But the problem is, it's maneuverability, and maybe that fighter will do something about it, but I highly doubt it. FTLs will still win it, rather win in a fight against.
I'm going to disagree with that, right? We're going to
Are
have
you
to
talking
see.
about combat for PvP or PvE?
PvP, I presume. PvE, they're about the same.
Yeah, that I would agree with.
Because that
I've
fighter in
done
PvE
PvP,
version.
I've found it to be really good for PvE. I don't PvP, so.
What?
Well, hey, me neither. But then again, there are details that you do pick up if you try it at least a couple of times, or get butt fucked a couple of times. So I got the ladder most of the time, so yeah. Well, there
We
you
had
go.
fun. We laughed.
No, not only against you.
Oh, okay.
Everyone.
No, I really like the way the Krait feels. I think it handles a little bit different to the Python. That might just be subjective.
Oh,
just
massively
feel
so.
Completely
when you-
subjective.
and
No,
that,
massively handles different than the Python.
How?
Oh,
How?
It's faster. It's more. I mean,
Maneuverable.
again, fully engineered. My Python maxes out, combat outfit at like 470, 475, where my Krait is more like 535, right? And the pitch and yaw rates are much better. I mean, I
No.
hate
No,
flying the
that
Python,
is just no.
right? And I
You don't think so?
love
You
flying
think
the
they're the
Krait.
I need to recheck the stats on my engineered modules for Krait, but when it comes down to unengineered stuff, the only stat different in pitch, your all pitch speeds is pitch speed, and that's slightly better, just like 3 or 2 degrees faster on pitch speed. That's it. Everything else is the same. So, okay, yeah, sure. I need to retest this properly to know it completely, but.
So hold on, I'm actually checking.
Wise,
Okay.
it's about the same.
So if
checking
it's the same, do you
Coriolis
think
right
it could be the
now.
cockpit that gives the impression it's more maneuverable?
Yes,
Obviously, it's
definitely.
much wider field of view,
Probably.
though, isn't it?
Definitely. See, if you pilot a beluga, if you ever have piloted beluga or even a cutter, something like a cutter, you'll see, or you'll definitely witness the different yaw turn rate speeds because you're at the tail end of, or rather just one of the ends, because the ship has a center of gravity that barely turns and what else, but the ends do turn quite faster. Centrifugal force. There we go, and all that nonsense. There is a subjective take on it, but it still is the same speed. In fact, obviously, oh wait, no, it wasn't Cutter. Cutter had the slowest pitch speed, but not the yaw speed. Right. The yaw speed slowest was for the Titan. Or whatever the case is, it's subjective at this point. If you do a test comparison side by side, you're probably gonna see a proper thing. So, unless you actually get some facts to present for me, son,
Which I'm
I'll
posting.
take that only as a subjective thing.
Posted in right now. I just
Posting your facts.
well, I just in chat for us. I'm looking it up on beta, assuming beta.coriolis is correct.
That's engineered or non-engineered?
This is I just slapped on an engineered thruster, and that's it. Just to compare
okay.
that. And so there's the differences. And so granted from those numbers, it's very minor, right? It's, rolls 120
roll
a
speed
second.
is super minor, and
Right.
pitch is the only one. Yaw rates.
Yaw rates
I don't know.
are
Okay,
exactly the same.
maybe that whole the whole mass, that the fact that the Krait is again slightly, well, maybe not slightly, but still lighter, then yeah, sure, it might turn more if you engineer it, maybe, but I don't know. Again, it's stats, and we need to test this stuff. So
yeah.
At this point, just take it as speculation rather than facts. So yeah.
My gut does say that it's going to be a shield tank, though, over a hull tank from flying it yesterday. I think it's interesting that it's pretty damn close to both.
It's a Python, mate.
Right.
Python's a hull tank. This
but I
a
think
hull tank.
I don't think it's going to be with a prismatic and stacking those boosters and stuff. I think it's going to be best used as a shield tank. That's going to be that's my early prediction. We'll see. You know, obviously everybody's going to have to get a hold of it for a while. But
when I've been using it, I haven't had it drop below 2 rings. We got some.
Well,
transmitting some copyrighted music. I see.
Somebody's got some music going.
Okay. Trying to content ideas. Okay.
Oh yeah, he doesn't care about that, does he?
That's the ice cream man. Ice cream for everyone, eh?
Crushing the little guy. Oh, that was the ice cream truck, wasn't it?
Hey, I could go.
It was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could go
take
for some of that right
I'd
about
take
now.
some ice cream.
Yeah. He's taking advantage of the hot weather.
Ice cream.
I would be too if I was that guy.
Now, okay, so
Yeah,
to
exactly.
the Krait, one thing I would say, somebody actually just said in my chat, it is a pretty great multi-role in the sense that it's a medium multi-role that's fun to fly with great visibility. It's good for piracy. It's good for combat. It's good for, I mean, we can argue how good, but it's good for combat. It's decent for exploration. It's certainly good for just jumping around in. I mean, it's a surprise to me.
I mean, it's a fucking Python, and judge it as a fucking Python. There you go. You'll know how good it is on combat and everything else if you just look at the fucking Python. And Python is godlike. So
I've got to be perfectly honest, I've never really used a Python.
See, I hate the Python.
Heresy!
I know.
Hey,
Don't feel bad. I've barely flown one, so yeah, you're not the only one.
I hear heresy. I
hate the Python so much I use it as my mining ship.
That's what I did. I set one up for mining.
Yep.
That's how I unlocked Celine Jean.
Yep. Same here, actually.
That's the only reason I've used a Python for mining, and I called it the bin.
You still
Nice,
used
nice.
it. You still used it.
Yeah, but not in combat.
Still, Python's godlike, and screw you if you think that.
Does anybody? A friend of mine pointed out. Does anybody think the Krait looks like they took an asp and cut it in half down the side? Down the side, and just called it a day. I mean, I know it's from the lore, but I think it's ugly as sin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Sounds about right.
It looks pretty decent if you turn it upside down.
I do like the way
if you turn it upside down, it's like a whole different ship.
I do like the like kind of the ram air looking intakes on the top for the engines. I do think that looks kind of sweet. But other than that, I'm definitely not a fan.
Because there's definitely air in space, right?
Oh, of course. Well, no, it's for our atmospheric landings. See, it doesn't tease space legs; it teases atmospheric landings.
Right. For atmospheric landings, you'd think that, making it top sort of bottom heavy and very sort of short on the bottom. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. And definitely making this thing a literal plane. Not a plane as a aircraft, but as just a square plane. Yeah, flat thingamajig. That's definitely going to be aeronautic. Yeah.
Someone's actually asking me, Yamix, what you think of the duct tape. Wants me to ask you what you think of the duct tape.
Oh, God.
I've already heard that one.
No.
I was on stream with him yesterday for that answer.
No. Moving on.
I think Roxham's got another great topic.
Yeah, that one. Okay, so this one surprised the crap out of me, and I was not expecting it. I took the Challenger out just to try it out, and it's a hull tank, just like the Chieftain, right? So I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to bother with. Not quite. I'll get to that.
I mean, but it's pretty.
So I don't bother putting shield cells on it or anything like that. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. All right, yeah. Normally, before this patch, you would take some module damage naturally, and some missile splash damage and what have you. Now your shields go down, they will deliberately try and power plant snipe you, and it's kind of frightening. They will disable your drives and then snipe your plant, and it's frightening because they are better at it than players are.
Have you noticed what, like, were they elite class? Were they dangerous class? Do you remember, or deadly class? Do you remember?
I think one that did that was master. The others were dangerous and deadly.
Okay. I'm kind of happy that the dangerous deadly commander, NPCs would do it. Maybe all the way not all the way down to master. Maybe that's a bit OP for some new commanders.
But suddenly, out of nowhere, like 6 fucking eagles with goddamn rails pop up, and you're dead.
So where were they? Where did you see those ships?
I was in Hazres in my player faction's home system, and I was just doing my thing, trying to get a feel for the ship. And at first, I thought it was the ship, but to verify, I went and got my chieftain out of storage, and brought that out, and did the exact same thing. And I got the exact same results from a similar situation. They will purposely target your drives and power plant when your shields go down, and they are damn good at it. So
What a change.
Yeah, because I came out with a net loss. I came out with a net loss after a single fight in both cases, because my power plant was on 2%, I think, when I came out of the fight the second time, and it cost me 600,000 to repair, and I only got like 200K from killing one of the 3 guys I was in a fight with. Like, prior to this update, I would have been able to win the fight without a problem. Now, whole tank PvE, forget it. Like, can't do it.
Could you do it even before?
Oh yeah, I was able to tank the ATR for like 6 or 7 minutes straight. And that was
normally,
the ATR.
PvE, normally, bounty hunting with the whole tank, really?
Is not a good idea. I mean, you can do it, but I would agree with where you're going, Yamix, that generally that's not a good idea, right? Because if you're slowly taking even hull damage or even a little module damage, if we're talking old school,
eventually it adds up.
Exactly, right? So it's always, in my opinion, it's always better. Like a bi-weave setup can be fine for it, right? But you don't want to set up where you're routinely losing where you're routinely losing your shields, though, right?
Well, it definitely seems the NPCs have changed. Did you guys hear about the new signal sources?
I did.
Someone actually.
I read it. Don't even know what that is.
I haven't. Go in.
Someone saw someone on. Sorry, excuse me. Someone saw one on Twitch yesterday streaming. I think it was Nat's right. She was streaming and saw a.
Nats.
Yeah, she saw a distress. Distress signal 3, no 6.
Okay, I've heard of a 7 as well.
Yeah, so there seems there's ones above 5 now. I don't think there were previously, was there? Only Thargoid stuff went above 5 previously.
Yeah, that's right. And it wasn't because I thought the friend that was telling me about it was like, oh, we've had the unknown non-human signal source for a while. He was like, no, this isn't non-human. These
are regular ones.
Yeah, exactly.
With advanced human ships in there. Looks like they're basically engineered ships.
Personally, I think that's great.
Fine.
That's what it seems like, anyway.
When it comes down to the whole power plant sniping, I mean, players do it, right? Obviously, the ones that are more experienced, they will do it. So, putting that power plant sniping trigger, I suppose, for like elite, dangerous, or deadly enemies, that would make it more realistic in some way. And if it's done, yeah. But if it's a fucking novice or whatnot else, no, just no. So the question is whether or not those, beginner buttfuck boys are going for your plant or not.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I'll have to jump into my alt account where I'm. I don't even think I've ever done combat in it, and go see like if I get engaged in a sidewinder, are they going to start doing that to me in a sidewinder, or is it, is it going to be the dangerous and deadly ones?
Be destroyed before your power plant goes.
Well,
that's a typical thing.
True.
Well, with the signal sources, it's kind of easier because you can just avoid the ones that are 6 and 7 or 5. But if they're happening in res sites, it's a bit different, isn't it?
Also, they seem to have really beefed up the strength of some wings. I found in my Hazres there was a wing with an anaconda and 2 Type 10s.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
that's
a fairly beefy.
Yeah,
Type 10 in a Hazres. Now that's a thing that I've never seen, to be honest.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of new stuff I found in the Hazres yesterday. That's just, yeah. Ugh.
You know, you could have at least written that in the patch notes.
Everyone.
It'd have been nice. It'd have been
Is there
nice.
still-
They didn't
is there
put
still-
anything about this in there.
Still not really any Imperial ships out there, cutters.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
No cutters,
conflict
no
zones.
corvettes.
No,
Yeah.
no corvettes.
Yeah.
Still not seeing any of them.
You'll find those in the conflict
I was gonna say,
zones
other than
if
conflict
one or
zones.
the other side.
Still
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And hey,
Just
Yamik,
wondered if you
speaking
might
of
have heard
patch
if anyone had
notes,
seen any.
how'd you like that cable street that cable smoothing in the Anaconda? Seemed at the end of your video you didn't say anything, so I couldn't tell what you meant by that.
I have no fucking idea what they changed.
Yeah, you think?
I mean, what the fuck did they change? Please show me the difference, because at this point there's still fucking cables around.
And they didn't look any
what is the
smoother.
point?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Oh
And it's a
yeah,
good
we
thing that
polished
was-
the third.
You know, it's maybe that
We
was
polished
patch
the
notes
third a little
padding.
bit more. Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, patch notes padding maybe.
There are better things to mention than that.
It's my point. Yeah.
Seriously, there are definitely better things to mention than that. That's for sure.
They took the wires from there and put them in the crate. That's what happened.
Yeah, seems like it. Seems like it. God damn it. Fuck me.
Somebody in my chat saying they're just trolling you on purpose, Yamix.
I have the feeling that they do, yes. I mean, the only thing that's missing from the crate is a goddamn spoiler.
Just wait for the ship kit.
Oh God.
Fuck you.
I want a ship kit. I want a ship kit gets rid of the little, the little tassely nipple rings on the sides, those little pointy nipples. I hate those damn antennas.
Daniel in my chat says the cable tidy is coming on the Frontier store, $9.99.
If it
Come
down,
on down,
Yamix, I'm
everyone.
buying it for
Frontier
you.
Store has everything, because we definitely still need to, ask upfront price for the game now. Why can't we put it on free to play? I don't fucking know, but Frontier Store, folks. Anyways, moving on.
Have you guys tried the new voice, Alex?
No,
Don't care.
I listened to it for a brief moment in the livery. That was about it.
I bought it. I'm a fan.
Speaking of buying things, when the ship kit for the crate comes out, I know exactly who I'm sending one to.
Fuck you. Fuck
He knows
you.
already.
I mean,
That's
why?
not nice.
Why do you torture me?
Because it's fun.
Perhaps with the crate, with the ship kits, they'll have it completely covering the top flat surface. Maybe that's why it's flat. So rather than just wings and
Maybe.
spoilers, we'll have a complete cover over.
Maybe.
It may be something really
Like a
stupid.
true body
eventually.
kit. Right.
Yeah, that's sold half a ship body.
Oh my god, so yeah, on my end at least I did arrive on one of the destroyed outposts, and I gotta say, Targoids leave a stink. quite the stink, I must admit.
Is that one of the base sites?
Yeah.
Oh, where is that one?
There was
I actually
one from the
haven't
Reddits.
Wait, what? I missed that. What are we saying about the Target bases?
HIP 19284. That is HIP 19284.
Okay, guess we'll go have a look.
Planets A2D. So
And-
Just having a look at the crashed Anaconda here.
And what's going on
that's
there?
not a crash.
Yeah,
That's basically just a destroyed site.
Oh, and
Rather
like
a packed site.
a new type of site. Is that what we're saying? Sorry, I missed the beginning of that. My apologies.
It's just a simple little, well, planetary base, mining base that is attacked. That's it.
Okay, but a Thargoid planetary base, or are we saying the Thargoid's attacked?
Give me a sec.
Okay,
Give me a
okay,
sec.
okay. My apologies. My apologies.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll post this link
Right.
in my chat.
Obsidian, maybe you have any patch
Thank you.
note
Thank you. Now I
things
get
that
it.
you want to mention, aside from the ones that already were mentioned?
Let's have a look.
Megaship looting?
Yeah,
Or
actually, did a
installation?
little bit of that yesterday.
Yeah.
Tested the installations. I only did one. I think they're not that easy to find in the game still. I had to go out to a blooming out of game resource. I think it was the Canon website I
Well,
used.
of course
to
you did.
find one of those. Yeah. I still can't find them actually in the game, but you know, I really like the gameplay there. I mean, it'll get kind of repetitive to do it quite often, but I do like the gameplay. They're using the silent running to loot the cargo hatches or hack the turrets, but it's the rewards again. I don't know if you've seen the rewards.
I have, and I thought the cargo rewards were once again ridiculous. That said, I was very pleasantly surprised with the data rewards. I was getting cracked meth, the cracked industrial firmware, modified embedded firmware for the new guys, whatever the grade 4 is between those two. I was getting it on every second or third log. I probably did it. I don't know. I did it 15 or 20 times, and I actually maxed out one of my datas, which I've never done before. Right, so I was very pleasantly surprised with that, and I think it's more fun. You know, my question is, if you guys know, the data that you can pretty much only get from the planetary, like the little bases where you go scan one data point, scan another, and you've got so many minutes kind of thing, right? I'm wondering if that same data is what shows up at the installations and megaships, because if it is, I would much rather do that than the planetary puzzles. If you guys know what I'm talking about.
The Guardian stuff.
No. I'm talking about like when you have to get, again, things like modified embedded firmware, and there's a few that like a security firmware patch, things like that you can, I think, only get, you use that app ED Pathfinder, and again, you go to the little outpost bases where you can't land at them, you land outside the exclusion zone, and then you do the, you scan the first data terminal, and it gives you 1 minute to go scan the next one, and then you get another minute to find the third one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those. I think the installations and potentially megaships give that same data, and to me it's much easier, certainly, and I find it much more fun. I mean, I built a DBS for it and was going silent constantly and hacking the thing, and I was like, this is actually kind of fun. So that was probably my biggest pleasant surprise of quote unquote gameplay so far, right? And I've had a couple of my chat at least confirm that it is the same data that you get out of both. So if that's true, I would much rather. Yeah, I would much rather do those than the surface stuff.
Well, I found some good data on the crashed Anaconda that was discovered last night.
Oh, there's a new one discovered? I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, there's two data points there. And you can get cracked industrial firmware and a bunch of other stuff from there.
Is it the same?
And it's also,
sorry, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, it's also repeatable. So if you log out and log back in again, the data you can collect again. There's no
Yay! Game cheesing! Sandy!
Yes.
This is what happens when you put in 3 bad things in the game. This is a slight reference to LaveCon when we were talking with Sandy, and he mentioned, basically cheesing the game, and what it does, basically these sorts of moves where you just log in, log back in, blah, 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 blah. So yeah. Yeah, we are doing that, basically.
He's not a big fan of that, then I take it.
Nope. No one is. No one likes to log back in. We all want that immersion, but that immersion is broken as soon as you open another window. And that is with Galaxy Map, that's with the Galnet, and the same goes with going back to the menu. Especially going back to the menu.
Yeah. And so, Ant, I was kind of asking, does that crash also have the cargo racks for minerals?
It does have some cargo racks there. Yeah, I didn't actually break them open, so I don't know what was in them.
Okay, and is it how flat is the terrain compared to the that second one that was discovered?
Yeah, you can land around there quite easily.
Oh, okay,
Not right
that's
on
awesome.
Top of it, obviously, but it's
all
pretty
right.
easy.
I'm gonna have to go check that out today.
That turns up there.
Oh, nice.
There's
okay.
I won't spoil it anymore, but
And Proxima's at the site you posted in chat.
Proxima's got the details. Yeah.
Yeah. Go
Just
Proxim.
wanted to let me know about it earlier.
Proxim will be with us shortly.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a bit of a sneezing fit right now.
You're
Give me a
good.
minute.
You're good. So I guess I'll change it here, but ask Ant, what's been your favorite thing so far? Favorite new thing or change?
Well, probably like a lot of people, I really like the Krait.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to become my go-to ship. I always use a Sidewinder, mainly because it's just
The best ship
pretty
in the
much
game.
versatile. It's got a great cockpit view.
Love
I
the
don't like the
Sidewinder.
big ships anyway,
Me
and I
too.
don't do a lot of combat, so just very easy to get around and adapt the ship to whatever you want it for, and looks like the Krait is going to be a good replacement for that. So yeah, really like the Krait. Do like the mega ships, not the mega ships, the installation interactions as well, but the rewards are a bit off there. Hopefully at some point they'll put some missions in there, eh?
Okay, here's a question for you then on the rewards there. What do you think, and we've talked about stuff like this before, and I have a number in my head, what do you think an appropriate amount of rewards to make that risk/gameplay worth it?
I don't know that it needs to be a credit value in the strict sense of the word. It just needs
Okay.
to be, if it's going to be cargo, then it needs to be cargo that's either unique or worth going there for.
Okay.
Like I say, if they give you a mission to go and obtain 5 of these, then go and obtain 5 of them. Yeah, it's an old
Okay.
trope and it's a repetitive mission type, but at least you've got a reason to go there. I know some people say, I've said that in a video before, and people have said, well, why do you need a reason to go there? If you want to go there, just go there. But I think it's
Okay,
nice
you
to have
can
a bit
go
of
to
an-
many places, but what's the point of going there, right? Yeah, again, this is a game. It's a piece of entertainment. Yeah? And a piece of entertainment's task is to do what again? Entertain you.
Yeah.
Or at least give you some initiative to entertain, yourself with the tools it offers. And here the game does barely any of that.
Well, it's an old problem, isn't there, Yamix, with people seeming to want the game to be a job.
Does anybody want it to be a
You
job?
grind in, well,
I get what you're
I've
saying.
seen people say you grind in real life. You have to do the same old things in real life.
Oh,
What's the problem
that's-
with doing them in Elite?
I call that bullshit.
Difference is,
This is a game.
for
Yeah.
grinding in real life, you get paid.
Exactly.
For grinding in here, you're paying them. That's the fucking difference.
That's exactly the difference.
There you go. Yeah.
And
But
here's the
this is a
thing:
game.
if none of us,
I don't come to the game to simulate real life.
well, and let's put it this
Oh,
way:
that's
if in real life we found a gold rush, so we didn't have to grind real life, wouldn't we take it? Of course we would, right? Those are probably the same
That's
people
why-
that say we shouldn't have gold rushes, right?
That's why black market exists, and that's why drug lords and stuff like that
That's right.
exist too.
That's right.
Just
That's-
saying. Reality, yay!
Sorry, I got to throw this one. Somebody in my chat just said, "I bet Yamix manages a strip bar. If he doesn't, he should."
Well,
We don't talk about that. He's going to say.
you give me potato, I'll let you know.
If they ever
Where
give
to
you an
find
in-game asset, Yamix, it should be an installation that's Yamix's, Yamix's out there hideaway or something like that.
No, probably people want a dead horse something. Probably.
Well,
I
that
don't know.
too,
Put in the
probably.
chats what you want to see. I mean, I'd much rather prefer a creator's hub as a
Ooh,
remark, or rather,
that'd
a
be
little
cool. Yeah.
recognition
for
of
everybody.
our all work.
For everyone. Yeah, I would agree with that, right?
But who the fuck knows whether or not that would ever happen? Oh well. Maybe with mega ships, or I mean the fleet carriers. Yay! I highly doubt it.
Oh, let's not theorycraft. Yamix Gentlemen's
Dave
Club.
Z.
Here we go.
David, you see this as a Yamix rubber duck shop.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be an in-game asset you would buy at that installation. Yamix's rubber ducky. Right, like the Hutton Orbital mug.
It's a rare commodity.
Sure,
And
why
you know
not?
what? If Yamix has this,
He's not so sure, are you, Yamix?
yeah, if Yamix has a strip club
I
in
mean-
Dame, we have a reason for space legs.
Yes. Yes, my immersion needs to improve there.
Boy, we are really off the rails today, aren't we?
I mean, what do you expect when there's basically nothing to talk about?
We're kind of stretching it, aren't we?
You know what? I do want to ask you guys. I don't know if we. When did the trailer for the Krait come out? Was that this week or was that last week? Did we talk about it in the
That
last
was
week?
about. That was on the Monday, if I remember correctly.
We haven't had a chance to talk about it together yet, have we?
No, we haven't actually. No. You're talking about kind of the Space Legs trailer.
If you want to, basically, what folks are gonna see right now is basically 4 guys, grown-up guys, analyzing a fucking trailer. Not even 2 minutes
exciting.
trailer.
So we're
I'm
BuzzFeed.
so fucking cynical.
We
right
are
now,
BuzzFeed. Yes, we are.
Oh my god. No. Anyways, carry on.
Yeah, what were your thoughts?
I know it's in there. I just want to know what you thought of it.
I mean, I don't
Mediocre.
know. Like,
More to the point, what did you think of the approach they took with it?
oh,
You know,
teasing
showing-
the things that we don't have, that
Exactly,
triggers
yeah,
me a little
yeah,
bit.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, stop teasing it if you're not going to let me have it. Like, that's mean.
Right.
So-
Well, in short, I can describe you quickly what at least my cynical ass perceives from the trailer. So first off, the trailer was overall edited very mediocrely, I'd say. The whole, no, not disgusting, but the voiceover. There we go. Voiceover over basically generic, very simplistic shots, not even pretty shots. Animation of the guy moving. Okay, there were again. I know this game is not big on animations and all that stuff, but god damn it, that the guy's moving animation sort of was very similar to something like 2004 game animation, and not trailer. I mean in-game animations.
Yep.
And if you want to see, this is basically a little bit about sausage or how the sausage is made. If you take a look at the trailer, at the very shot where the guy stops, you can see him clipping straight to the basically that end position. That was the funniest thing I saw. I mean, okay, he walks, clips. Okay, it's very minute detail, but it's still a detail that they could have animated out, considering animation level on Jurassic Borg game. We know that they have animators that know what the fuck they're doing. So, what happened with this one? I guess it was a quick rush job. I guess you can call it that. Maybe, maybe not. Again, there's just that level of detail, also level of effort being put in. Obviously, this is just a trailer and what it doesn't need to be too crazy what it does. This was probably one of the worst trailers we've gotten. Again, if you compare that one to Ramta's trailer, there's a clear difference where the effort went.
Enormous. Yeah.
Indeed. With this one, they couldn't even do the fucking walking animation properly. I'm like, the fuck? Unless they are actually using built space legs or prototype for it or something like that, then sure. But still, and the another thing that you notice with animation, not maybe errors but overlooked details, was the lift goes up, the lift stops, the guy's only one leg kind of moves, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Really? I'm gonna look at it real quick. Hold on.
It was, of course, the whole body a little bit, moving, but it
Yeah,
was
it's just-
specifically
yeah, it's just
that
his
one
left
leg
leg.
moving slightly, and that was the most of action you get from lift actually stopping. Your whole body stopping at that point. Inertia. There's basically no inertia or feel for it. But other than that, again, yeah, they're basically teasing the space legs, obviously, about the whole thingamajig, and putting aside the amateurish level of animating in general, yeah, it's it's just a fucking blue ball for the space legs. For everything else, you'd think that, oh, okay, they're just showcasing, more stuff that you obviously can't do in the game. That often is a thing with games, really.
I was gonna say, isn't that pretty common with games, cinematic trailers?
Indeed, that's a common thing. But unfortunately, this was clearly done with in-game engine, with the in-game tools, and sure, some animations on top of it. But again, if you compare the level of effort put into the Ramta trailer and this one, you can see clearly that they didn't give a fuck or just rushed it out, or I don't know what happened there, but there's not as much effort put into animations as much as you get in the Ramta thingamajig. So
I think a lot of people noticed that, and it's kind of what led to the speculation with Space Legs and the trailer perhaps haven't been done with in-game assets rather than before being done in a more cinematic form. Yeah,
I've been wondering about that.
Showing stuff that they've actually got in-game now.
Is
that what it was?
I guess maybe I just hate the idea of Space Legs so much I don't want to see that. Because that's not at all how I saw it. I just saw it as a shitty cinematic trailer, right? I mean, you've got a good point, Ant. I didn't think about the fact that it really is much more, in-game assets. Maybe, I guess my question would be, is it in-game assets because they did it the lazy way out, and that was the faster way to do it because they've got a game engine and they could code something around it that way easier than doing a full rendered animation? Or are they teasing that, right? I mean, I think the community is seeing a lot. I think this is common, right? Seeing a lot of what they want to see in something like that.
Of course.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Which of course is common, right?
But then,
and let's put it this way: I'd be stunned if we get Space Legs before we get planetary, atmospheric planets, and we haven't heard anything on that, unless I've missed something in quite a while. So I would be. Because I know they've said they kind of wanted to do Space Legs, but haven't they always said that's something that's basically way down the line?
Developers constantly say, well, we want to do it, it's somewhere on the list, or we could put it on the list, and these sort of rhetorics that just throw away dismissive lines that they do.
I would love if they removed the word want from their vocabulary.
If you can't listen to the way Frontier have always talked about stuff in the past, when something's definitely not coming for a long time, they always say, that's a long way away, or that's on the cards, or it's on the list. They say sort of something like that, just to, because they basically don't want to say, oh, we're not doing that, because they don't want to probably upset people. So they just say, yeah, it's on the list, but it's a long way off. But when things get to the point where they're gonna start making announcements, they start saying we've got nothing to announce. They change the way they start talking about it.
Yes.
I don't know if you've noticed
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That's something they've done pretty much since day one.
Yep.
And if you notice, with atmospheric planets and with Space Legs, they've stopped saying that's a long way away and started saying we've got nothing to announce.
Right. Because I think they're realizing everybody's catching on to the fact that there's only so many times you can keep saying, right, that, how many times you can say, oh, is Turgeon joining us?
I'll pop in.
There we go.
I see you got
There we go.
very anxious there.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So, what you got to say?
Hey, well, I've got one comment. It's about the Krait's bridge, essentially. Because, when you're in VR and you make story videos, you spend a lot of your time trying to see how far you can get around these bridges to look for good shots, and go, where can I go? Can I get that? Can I get back there? Oh, what's there? And a lot of the time it's some crappy textures and you think, oh, well, that's not worth, I can't really use that in a shot. I can see all like demarcation lines. I stuck my head through the hull. Oh. But when you look in the Krait's bridge, it's the first one I've actually looked at in VR where I think, bloody hell, this one is designed to be walked in. It actually
I was
looks
thinking
that
that
way.
about the Chieftain in the first place, to be honest.
The
well.
the New Alliance ships they've got a much better resolution of stuff in the background to them. But the Krait itself, it just has that feel. I play a game that's From Other Suns in VR, and you're walking around ships in that one and playing around things. And for a split second, when I first put the headset on and I was looking at the Krait cockpit, it felt like I was in From Other Suns, and I haven't had that with any other bridge. So to me, it feels like it's specifically designed with that in mind. Not tomorrow, obviously, but they've put the legwork in already in that bridge. Preparation for legs, as it were, I think.
Interesting
nice.
choice of words.
All the extremities. They put in all the extremities towards it. Yes.
Yeah, get some extremities.
Including a coffee
Well,
maker.
Yeah, and a little model of the original Krait as well.
Yeah,
There's a little,
Yeah.
Your
little
little
block model just behind the left
Krait
Yeah.
multi-crew seat.
Yeah, that was kind of a
Yeah.
neat
Such a
little
nice
Easter egg.
detail.
Yeah, I
Such a
agree.
nice
I agree.
detail.
That is
Now,
a nice little Easter
you
egg.
can only see that. You can only really get a proper look at that if you're in VR and you step off the beaten path. It's not really that visible from the standard camera angle, so it's there to be found if people want to go looking for it. It's the kind
It's
of thing
not
you
that
put in
hard,
for
yes,
space
come
legs. Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's easier in VR, certainly, but yeah, I get where you're going.
It's
There
a
we
lot
go.
easier. Yeah.
yeah.
On the
I found the
corner.
layout of the bridge pretty interesting as well. It's a lot like what you'd expect
Well,
from something
yeah.
like Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Exactly, yeah, and there's something else actually in the left, particularly in the left multiplayer seat. If you have a look at that one, if you look directly up, you can see that there's an access panel. Well, there's actually an open access panel that leads. I don't know how much space there is. I mean, the Krait's a flat ship, so there's not actually much space above you in the bridge. So I don't know what's up there, but you can see that there's a little access panel, much like you get on the International Space Station, and also just above your head in the multi-crew seat, there are a load of access panels with labels on the, like Batman labels, I'll tell you what it is, shark repellent, this kind of thing. And
Nice.
they're the kind of things that you can only really access in zero gravity. Because you can't reach them if you're sitting in the chair. You couldn't even reach them if you're standing on the chair, and there's half a dozen of them there. But it's designed so that in zero G you could fiddle with them, and it's done with that in mind. They probably won't serve any purpose, in zero G, but it looks like they do. And there's not many of the other ship designs have that going for it, so it's just it's a beard strokey thing. They've gone to all this effort. Why?
Random dumb question. From the lore, is there any sort of anti-gravity or artificial gravity device anywhere in the galaxy, or are all the ships, are we
No.
in zero G everywhere?
No,
Okay.
not that I know of. It's never actually been mentioned. In fact, in previous laws, you just had the spinny stations, and that was it. There was literally nothing.
Actually, I think David Braben, I was going to take me a while to find the specific quote from Braben, but he actually did address the anti-gravity, artificial gravity thing at one point. He said it's unrealistic because of the amount of power and other things that would be required to actually make that work, even inside of a station. So the only thing that can actually do that, is rotating stations, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's the only way to
Centripetal.
simulate gravity.
Basically a
yeah.
trick.
There is, however, a cloaking device in the previous games.
Oh, is there?
It's
Okay.
it's kind of a random encounter. It's one of the very, very few missions that actually existed in the previous games. And you encounter 4 ships, and you have a pop at them, and then one of them disappears. And if you hang around long enough, it'll shoot at you while it's cloaked. And if you shoot it and kill it, you can scoop up a cloaking device and fly around forever after the cloaking device after that. Now the point is, it consumes a lot of energy. And I'm thinking, we've seen this Krait here with this ridiculously large power plant capacity that it's got, and we saw that leaked thing on the Frontier store that said Krait Phantom, and you start thinking, cloaking device.
I highly doubt that
I
will
don't
be
know.
that.
So do I,
too,
but it would be in keeping with law. Not that
Is it
they
a
ever
super-
stick to the law these
like-
days, eh?
Yeah, when I heard that, I
But
felt
there you
like
go.
super cold running Krait's the first thing that popped into my head when I read that. I'm not saying you're wrong, but
But that would be the equivalent, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah,
what cloaking is in
Sure.
dangerous. It's cold.
sure.
So it could be like a huge refrigeration system run by your big power plant. So yeah, you literally could drop down
Oh
to zero.
my god,
Like,
they're basically
a
flying at a
long duration
refrigerator
heat
now.
sink.
Fuck me.
yes.
Heat management was meant to be a big thing, wasn't it, initially? If you look at the
Yeah.
earlier
Yeah.
design discussions of the game, combat was meant to be very much about silent running. But yeah, I don't.
At least that was a valid
went
mechanic
the way
at
by
one
it, didn't
point,
it?
right?
Yeah, quite. It was early on. You could
Yeah.
use it quite a lot.
Yep. It's certainly not
I mean,
anymore.
in one of the little traders they did very early on, it might have been 2013, I think. They even had I think it was a sidewinder or something like that. A couple of sidewinders maybe inside an asteroid belt, and one of them went into silent running so that the other one couldn't see it.
Okay,
Yeah.
like ducking in and out,
Yeah.
hiding from each other,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, and then
okay.
just going cold so it couldn't be seen and sneaking up onto its enemy. But we haven't really got anything quite like that, have we?
Well, no, we're completely the opposite. In fact, instead of being able to silent run, all we have to deal with is burning to death instead, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We have to, if you worry about heat management, it's never to keep yourself truly cold and running silent. It's what can I do to mitigate all the hot shit kind of thing, right? Thermal vent and all the different thermal, whatever it is, the thermal dissipation for the experimentals.
Yeah. No, I mean, theoretically, when you're going into a station, if you're smuggling stuff, if you've got a lower heat signature, the cops are less likely to look at you, unless you've got a mission.
Right.
This is what I've found.
Yeah,
if you're flying a smuggling mission, then they'll look at you. If you just smuggle, you could smuggle like hundreds of tons of something chronically illegal, and if you've got a low profile and you're not running a mission, they probably won't see you. But if it's part of a mission, well, you're doomed, aren't you?
Yeah.
They're all corrupt,
Especially if you've got illegal passengers, right? Same thing.
Yeah. They're all on the take, they communicate. There's a guy coming into your system. He's got a shit from the back. All right, that's what's going on.
Right. There was one more thing about the trailer. Yeah. So it's interesting that this is the first actual ship trailer that we get. I'm kind of. I don't know. Maybe they just thought, oh, okay, we kind of want to make
anything
it
else
just out of the blue. But maybe this is my conspiracy theorist talking, and they maybe looked at, Star Citizen makes ship trailers and stuff like that, so we'll do one too, and here we are, making a poorly animated thing with voiceover.
See how much interest you can get in just the ships alone, rather than other content, yeah?
Maybe. No, I mean, people obviously are interested in ships, and well, that's my main focus of this particular game. I do love ships. Most of them, anyways. And this is basically what I tend to focus on sometimes, and so on and so forth. So, for me, it's nice to see that they are actually acknowledging that interest in the ships and so forth. So, I definitely like to see more types of animations on new releases for ships and so on and so forth. But of course, if that comes at the sacrifice of story, no thank you. Just saying.
Yeah.
I value story more.
Here's my question.
We need desperately story in this fucking thing. God damn it.
Yeah, no, and actually, you're going to segue to my question, which is and you guys tell me what you think. When you think about what the game needs and what we would like the devs to spend time on, is it more medium-class combat ships?
Yes. Answer is simply yes. Because,
you think so?
I told you.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. I'm in the minority then. I think we got plenty of medium-class combat ships. I would much rather have bug fixes and, as Yamix just said, new story and new things to do.
Right. So, all right. So basically, about the whole so medium ships. So when you look at the small ship category, there literally is everything. The small ship category has everything. Every role, every type, every progression piece is pretty much filled. While medium ships has still quite a huge ass gap between something like Type 7 and Python. Right now, in between, we have Alliance, Chieftain, Challenger, and Krait, and only one of them is multi-role. We need something else there as well. Because, remember, when you take out, and rightfully so, all the rank-locked ships, then you see basically a gap of basically nothing there. And bigger gap. In fact, I would like to see at least one more ship in between Asp Scout, not Asp Scout, but Asp Explorer, and Type 7. We need desperately a ship there too.
For what role, Yamix?
I'd say multi-role would be the best choice, because multi-role again fits everything and it's easier to make as well.
And are you just looking for?
I wouldn't mind Trader.
Yeah, and I'll give you, I think it's silly that Type 7, for example, isn't a medium-class ship, right? Like, we don't have a dedicated medium-class trader.
It's immediately a launch.
Right, yeah.
It's immediately, basically, let's go straight from almost a small ship that is Asp Explorer, straight to the fucking large ship, right?
Right.
it's jumping quite a bit, and Type 7 unfortunately doesn't feel that big, and it's ugly. It looks like a fucking chihuahua, overgrown fucking chihuahua. Oh, wait, no, wiener dog, there we go. It does look like it. I mean, it has those little legs. Just barking all over the place, and just being...
Man.
Oh, there you go. But, I've actually taken a look at the whole ship lineup and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely there is a huge need for specific price range ships. We still need something on 25 million, something like that. Slightly more expensive than Challenger, and in multi-role, definitely multi-role. There's a huge need for it. Then around 15. 20, also another multi-role is necessary, because multi-role oftentimes also doubles as an explorer ship. That's why, because we don't have specific explorer ships or designation for them, so multi-role oftentimes just fills that particular scratch or gap or whatever you want to call it. After that, I'd say definitely there's a massive need for some kind of ship, after Python and Anaconda. There's just need for some sort of multi-role there as well. I honestly expected the Type 10 to be there, and technically it is, but Type 10 is not really... It's not a multi-role. It's a weird-ass blend of idiocy. That's all it is. It's... And fuck you, Proxim.
I was gonna say, we just described this group, I think.
So there you go. That's, again, of course, later on, once those gaps are filled, devs, actually in the dev stream itself, I do remember devs saying that, we are not looking at making new ships for the niches. We're looking for ships that will be alternative, and that is pretty bad. That's a stupid statement. We don't need more versions of one type of a weapon with slightly changed, values. Technically, that is Krait, by the way. But rather need, again, niche filling ships, and there are plenty of niche still around to go. So yeah. But of course, eventually, once those niches are filled, even when alternatives are put in the game, there will be time when not only the alternatives won't be coming out, there will be basically the huge ships coming out, and then the power creep sets in. But whether or not that will happen before the 10-year plan is done, that's a different question. So, expect alternatives.
Well, would you want to see anything on the smaller end, smaller ships, or more gameplay for smaller ships?
Sure.
Or do you think you don't need anything for smaller ships?
I mean, I do enjoy small ships. Unfortunately, small ships in this game are useless.
Ooh, I disagree.
That's the sad truth, really. Small ships, well, there's only one small ship that I use constantly for something, and that is the Diamondback Explorer, right? Everything else is pretty much... I mean, sure, Courier has some good things, but you might as well use something like a Krait or Python at this point. Yeah? Krait, definitely Krait at this point, because Krait has the jump range, or Anaconda if you're not going for, just a cheap rebuy or what it does. And Exegius, yes. I love small ships as well. In fact, Vulture, in fact, is one of my
Vulture's great.
favorites.
Yeah, I mean, the Vulture is practically a medium ship. I mean, it's a PvP hub considers it a
borderline.
It's
borderline. It's so borderline. It's amazing.
Nothing we could do with a few more preps like that. But, I found it quite kind of interesting with the name of the Alliance Crusader getting out there. And I don't know if you know, most of the Chieftain and the Challenger are named after British tanks, yeah? And
I heard
hopefully someone will correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the Crusader was actually a smaller tank when compared to the Chieftain and the Challenger.
Oh, interesting. That'd be...
So,
personally, I think that would be
not
great.
Knowing the names properly, oh my, that's a surprise. That's the first time this happened, right? Right?
Well, so it's either the Crusaders, yes, they don't know.
It's either small or they're wrong.
Or it could mean that the Alliance Crusaders perhaps going to be a smaller ship.
which I'm going to disagree with Yamix there. I love the small ships. I think they're fantastic. I would prefer them. I'd rather fly them over anything. Well, no, you're saying that they were worthless, and that's where I would disagree, right? Like, I love using the Cobra for PvP piracy. It's fantastic for that. It's so much more fun to fly than certainly the big ships. I wouldn't argue maybe against the medium class ships, right? But I think I'm maybe where Ant was about to go. I would love to see a new small class. I'd rather see a new small class ship than a new medium class ship, right? And honestly, back to kind of the point I was maybe trying to make is, I don't care about new ships, because even everything we're talking about to me doesn't change fundamentally how I play the game or what I do in the game. So I'd rather them spend time on things that are going to change that, right? What we do and how we do it, versus just having a new cockpit to look at. Hell, I would much rather have a new HUD to look at than a damn new ship to look at, right? I mean, the wrapping is, doesn't mean a whole lot to me. I would much rather, have, again, something new to do or a new HUD to look at over a new ship.
That's true, yeah. I mean, again, Star Citizen coming into play, but yeah, there's one thing in Star Citizen that I do enjoy, and that is that every ship has,
as a function,
the ones that are not copied, of course, they have different HUDs, and those are good, those are nice, I like that. Right, so, but to Exegius's comments about the small ships, again, okay. I say small ships are useless because they are, really. Why would you pick a small ship to do a specific task?
Because it's fun.
Right? Okay, yes.
They're much more fun to fly.
That's the only excuse you may have.
Well, that's why I'm playing the game. It's fun.
Well, they could do with...
But when we're talking about actually completing a task...
define task.
A specific task.
Define task.
Okay, so...
Mission,
bounty hunting.
Sure. I mean, but you're not going to make as much per hour, sure. So if we're talking about so now you're talking about credit farming, but now you're defining fun by how many credits you're making per hour, not by the just inherent fun. I didn't say credits.
Okay. I said by what? Accomplishing a task, you deaf bastard.
Okay, so what's what's the task, asshole? If the task is bounty hunting and bounty hunting is fun, okay. So what's
bounty hunting?
I would much rather do that in a Cobra than a Anaconda. I know that's a large class, but I would much rather do that in a Cobra. It's much more fun to me to fight in a Cobra.
Yes, I said fun is one thing. Okay, fun. Okay. But then you put aside that fun, there's functionality.
Okay,
that's why I say useless, because again, functionality wise, you won't go for a fucking Sidewinder or Eagle to bounty hunt. If you want to actually accomplish that, just kill tons of dudes, which you might find the most fun, right? You don't care what type of ship you're using, you're caring about the fact that you are killing them, right? So in that case, you're getting...
I disagree.
It's an example.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Subjective example.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking subjective. So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yes. But yeah, my point more or less was about the fact that the way ships intermingle in this game is the fact that medium ships rule everything. If you're gonna pick up something else that is not a medium ship, you're probably gonna have a worse time than you're gonna have with a smaller or a bigger ship. Yes, bigger ships are harder to maintain, they cost a lot more, and also of course they are not as maneuverable, making them easier to take on oftentimes. And that's why medium ships are ruling this game. And unfortunately, it's kind of hard to make it the game of rock, paper, scissors and Elite with all the ships in mind. Small ships are super effective against bigger ships are more effective against medium ships, and medium ships are basically better than small ships and all that stuff. Essentially, rock, paper, scissors, as I said. There's unfortunately no such thing in this game.
But don't you think that's the way they're going to go now? They're talking about ship specialization. I mean, they've started that with military compartments and passenger compartments, and they've said they want to. They said they want to carry on with mining compartments, and exploration compartments. The thing is, you can't really put them, well, they haven't so far put them in smaller ships. I think that could be an option, really, couldn't it? Just add a few more compartments to the smaller ships, or these specialization ones.
I can see that working and making things more viable for different roles.
But it's got to need to wait until the gameplay's there, like Yamik's saying. I do agree with what he's saying there, Yamik's. If there's no gameplay there for the ships, then there's no use to them, is there?
Piracy would be a perfect one, but
I mean, to talk about mining, for example, it's just making stuff up at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, no.
But you've got these big ass asteroids, massive big asteroids, and you've got the smaller ships, which you can, or the bigger ships, which they're talking about putting these charges down into the cracks, down into the fissures. You drop the charges to explode them open. Well, why not add another option in where you can take one of the smaller ships and actually fly that inside the fissures, and then mine inside the asteroid. Yeah, you're then given a functionality to the smaller ship.
You want to take your proby little smooth, gentle ship and fly it into a butt crack. Okay, fantastic prospect there. I love that prospect.
I've come up with some functionality for you, Yamix.
All right, fair enough. I suppose. Oh my, but
you're in your mind.
Wow.
Talking about the deep recesses of somewhere.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
You've seen these giant
that's a reference from Matrix, by the way. Oh, whatever. Well, hey, yes, I'm just completely fucked.
Well, Proxim, what's your take?
My mind is just...
Oh, what is Jesus?
What's your take on this? Small being useless, small being good? Do we need more small? Do we need more ships, period?
I mean, I would like to see a couple more specialized type small ships, but that's just because I do like to dink around in the little ones every once in a while because it's fun. It's not particularly practical, but it is fun. And I find that it's, at least in combat-wise, it's also challenging to try and make the small ships compete, like sticking shock cannons on the Viper 3 with a couple of pulse lasers and seeing how long I can make that last and what kind of nonsense I can get up to in a Haz-Res. Like, that's just kind of the crap that I do, though, too. Yeah. So,
I mean,
I would like to see some more capability and some more variety in the low side of things, in the small ships. But I wouldn't call it a high priority thing because it's just not terribly practical once you've been in the game long enough to get out of them to begin with. I'm kind of,
I mean, for me, like practical. I said, I'd rather see gameplay and things to do over a new interior just to look at, right? I want stuff outside my windscreen to do versus inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that said, one thing I'd be curious about, the devs obviously aren't going to answer, but I'd love to know is, how much work does it take for them to put together a new ship, right? I mean, in some senses, I'd see it wouldn't be all that much. It's, figuring out what the, decide what the module size is going to be, what the overall size is going to be, how it's going to perform, what it's going to look like. You create the models for it and stuff. It doesn't seem like it's as much work to do that as some of the other things, but again, I would much rather have things to do versus, fly.
Yeah, don't hope for more ships. No one should be hoping for more ships because I know what happens when developers start spamming the game with ships and new, let's just say, weapons or items and whatnot else. And technically, to one point, we already have that. But as I look at PlanetSide 2, holy fuck, that's a great example of just spamming the game with new stuff. Essentially, just reiterated versions of the previous stuff. And this Krait is already feeling like that. Sure, it's not as good as Python. Yeah, it might be slightly better in maybe one or two aspects, but that's about it. And yeah, it's already starting to creep on. When it comes down to weapons or ships like that, I like to think of this gaming idea of something that Team Fortress 10 at least used to employ rather. Every class in Team Fortress 2 has their own weapons. Unique weapons, well, okay, there was a shotgun that was shared, but that was secondary. Main weapon. Each class has its own unique weapon and tool to use. They each fill the unique role. And of course, after a while, you start to spam things in, and then you just lose that. First of all, that initial, intermingle between each ship and so on and so forth. Just they don't really work together anymore. They don't really make sense oftentimes as well, and well, you end up basically with just a store full of just reiterated versions of the same thing. And well, is it really that fun? I mean, sure, I'd like to have more ships and so on and so forth, but you've got to start asking questions as to what's the point as well. So, and I'm asking, what's the point? What's the point of the crates?
Well, I
really,
think
you have Python, right?
I think what the point, I wanted to hear what Proxim had to say, because I feel absolutely with the Challenger, what the fuck, right? Like it feels exactly like the Chieftain to me.
Exactly, that's another good example.
Yeah,
in fact.
and it
You
seemed
don't
like
think the
Proxim.
crate fills a gap though, Yemix?
I do.
You don't feel the crate fills a gap? I think it fills a gap.
It fills a gap in the price-wise, very slightly, because again, for 3 more million, you can buy Furtherlands. It doesn't fill the price gap even. So multi-role maybe, but even I expected Krait to be costing somewhere in the realms of gunship, 35 million. That would fill the gap, yes, because you know the only other ship in between currently Krait or Furtherlands even, and the next cheapest ship is Challenger, which is 20 million something. There's 20 million gap. Basically, you have to earn twice as much from the last ship, or get 2 of those ships before you can buy next cheapest one, if you haven't rank grinded. So there you go. That's sort of the issue. And eventually they will fill it, sure. Who knows what the Krait Phantom might be? It might be just an even more downsized version. Sure, fine. And as for the next Alliance thingamajig, that might be, you know, more pricey. So that might fill that gap slightly. Who knows? But for that we need to wait. And I don't know, really. There are design choices that are made basically about the game, and it's well, in this case, the main focus. And yes, I'm daring to call ships this game's main focus. Because it is the main thing you sit in, where you do everything and so on and so forth. It's the base thing from which you do things. Therefore, it is, at least in some part, or a rather big part, a focus. So, there you go.
Well, even if you look at the other content, you've got a big galaxy out there, but it's all useless without a ship, isn't it? You've got to have a decent ship to get out there. I know people do it with a small ship, and a cracked canopy.
You can do it with a goddamn gunship.
No
and the
moron
lowest
would
jump
do
range
that.
you can pick up. Sure.
He would do
Yes,
that,
gunship has the worst jump range in the game, sure. But, well, fine, you can do whatever you want in any ship in this game, but really, well, you want to pick up something that is more suited for your playstyle.
Yeah, you want to customize the ship and get the right ship for your particular aims in the game, yeah.
Well, Prox, what's your thoughts on the Challenger, Prox? I definitely wanted to hear that.
Okay, well, as far as the Challenger goes, it's kind of like a gunship Phaz. The Chieftain is something kind of like the Phaz, just for the Alliance side.
Okay.
Its handling characteristics are very similar. The thing that the Chieftain had over the Phaz is that it has more firepower. That's pretty much about it. Otherwise,
and more special
they're
effects.
fairly equal.
Yeah, you can do more experimentals because you've got more more hardpoint choices. Right.
Yeah, there's a lot more flexibility in the way the Chieftain was able to be loaded out.
Yep.
Now the Challenger, it's somewhat less maneuverable, not by a large margin, but if you really pay attention to the way it handles, there is actually a fairly decent delay in how it moves. So if you wanted to make it roll, you move the stick, it'll start to move, but it's very slow on the takeoff, and then eventually it will catch up with itself. If you put it side by side with the Chieftain does the same thing, but it's much less pronounced. The Challenger it's a little sluggish in the beginning and only really gets up to speed towards after about a half a second or so of movement, and then it's up to speed. as far as like pitch, roll, yaw, that stuff goes. Now, it's slower, it is a little bit tougher, and it has a little bit more damage. Instead of being a little bit under the Fer-de-Lance, it's actually a little bit over. It's basically in Python territory.
Would you ever choose the Chieftain over the Challenger at this point?
Probably not, actually.
Because I don't know why you would. To me, the slight loss in maneuverability, everything else about it is better. Like, why would I fly the Chieftain at this point? Right?
Like, I don't think I would fly the Chieftain over the Challenger either, but it's really only because the Challenger is maneuverable enough for me to be able to make good use of fixed weapons, but it's not overly sensitive to the point where I have a hard time aiming them. So, I mean, that's kind of where the Challenger falls into me. You know, is that it's a little less maneuverable, a little bit tankier, but if you're looking for more maneuverability and particularly speed, the Chieftain's going to win out. So, as I said, it's kind of like Chieftain. It's kind of like Phas versus Gunship, you know, just with a much narrower margin as far as damage output goes. That's really the how I'm looking at it. You know, do I want speed and raw maneuverability, or do I want, you know, general usability and tankiness? I mean, general usability for me is going to win out. So, I mean, it's not that Chieftain is necessarily
You're
a bad
basically
ship,
being pragmatic, just like most people are, and well, hey, I'm that too. I actually go for a pragmatic approach constantly, in fact, knowing very well what it is.
Yeah, see, like, the Chieftain's not a bad ship, don't get me wrong. I just...
It's alternative to Federal Soul Ship and Clipper. That's it. That's all it is.
Pretty much. The Challenger is a little bit too slow to really...
It's in that weird spot.
It is in kind of a weird spot.
It's Chieftain, and yet it has another size 6 optional internal, where what the fuck you're gonna use that for in the hull tank, right? And on top of that, you're, you know, slower. Was it slower or less maneuverable?
A little less, yeah.
So it's basically... And what do you gain? More armor?
You get 10%. Yeah, I just looked. You get 10% more armor, which is
so yeah, you're basically at the same
10%,
point where Viper 4 is. It's basically Viper 4. It's fucking useless. Sure, Viper 4 has the most hull when you completely buff it, right? From all the small ships in the game. Sure.
Oh yeah.
Fine, but what's the point if you don't evade the fire, which small ships should do in the first place? What, tanking it all won't really help you much, because you're still very, very fragile. And the same thing goes with this thing. You're ever so slightly more tankier, and you're gonna get shot a lot more because of it. I mean, sure, you got a little bit more extra damage, but that's like saying, well, Python also has extra damage in comparison to Fer-de-Lance, but who's gonna win the fight mostly? Fer-de-Lance! Guess why? So that's the same issue I have. Okay, fine. In one way, Challenger can double back as some sort of cargo ship, because, well, it actually has somewhat a decent cargo bay, but jump range is not good enough to do, you know, what you could do in, I don't know, to Type 9, right? So what's the point in picking up Challenger? Unless you're really going for the combat main and then multi-role second, maybe, but again, it's in that awkward spot. That's all it is. At least in my opinion. And sorry for interrupting there.
No worries. It does... I mean, a lot of people are going to think that the Chieftain is completely obsolete by, you know, the introduction of the Challenger, but I don't think that's necessarily true.
Chieftain? No, Chieftain is still very viable. Fuck no, Challenger is the useless one that is introduced.
I don't know. See,
I
disagree. I don't really think it's useless. I mean, it's got a little bit more firepower than the Chieftain does.
It's got more than a little bit. I mean, the three mediums versus one large and a medium. I'll take the three mediums every day. Again, not only is it more DPS, but I get more experimental effects that way.
I mean, you can, yeah, potentially. I mean, but it's. I just don't think that it's.
I don't think it's enough different. No matter what we're saying, I don't think it's enough different.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think the Challenger could be a little bit. Like, I think you can outfit it more as a multi-role than a specialist combat ship, which is interesting to say, seeing as how it's supposed to be a combat ship. As what I've done with it is. That second Class 6 slot actually has a fuel scoop in it, and one of the Class 2s has got an FSD interdictor, so I can take the thing, I can travel around and hunt things down in other systems, no problem. Most combat ships, when they're fully combat outfit, they've got maybe 3 or 4 jumps worth of fuel in them, and that's it. The Challenger, at least in its current configuration for me, doesn't have that. So it's got more flexibility without sacrificing as much of its combat capability, which is kind of nice. That's really about it. I just think it's more flexible, and that makes it very appealing to me.
Ant, what's your take? Have you flown it much yet?
No, I haven't even had a go of the Challenger yet. I've had a go of the Krait. I've messed around with that, but I still haven't looked at the Challenger yet. But as soon as the specs were announced, I kind of wondered where the Challenger was going to fit in, especially when earlier on they were saying it was going to be more manoeuvrable than the Chieftain. They kind of left the thought, well, if it's more manoeuvrable and everything else is better, why would you want a Chieftain to start with?
Yeah, agreed.
Is there much difference between the manoeuvrability?
I don't think there's enough to make the difference. I think all the other positives of the Challenger are for combat anyway. I don't know why you would pick the Chieftain over the Challenger for combat at this point. Again, let's assume budgets. I mean, let's assume that doesn't matter, right? Because I don't see that maneuverability difference in any way making the difference in either winning the fight or having fun.
Yeah. Personally, I really like maneuverable ships, so I don't know yet if I'd notice that kind of difference.
I think you notice it, but I don't think it wouldn't change. I don't think it would sway you exactly, because I think you and I agree with maneuverability.
I'll have to give it a try. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you should obviously, right?
Yeah. I actually got another subject away from ships. If you want to move on a bit.
Sure. What you got?
So how many of you have visited some of the? Or had the chance to visit some of the new sites that's in the game since the update? We got some of the. Little ground bases.
No, I haven't.
I am in one of them right now, so.
Yeah, I logged out of the. They're interesting. I haven't seen. I just have your stream pulled up right now, and so I'm, seeing the ground base there, but I haven't actually been to those yet. I've been to the other one.
Yeah, what one have you been at? Yeah, make sure you're the ground base, with the mist.
I did post in the chat.
Can somebody post can somebody give me a system name? I'll head to one.
So there's the Reddit link that I put up there.
Okay, that's the one. Yeah. Okay, I got you. How far from the core is that one?
It's about 200.
Oh, okay, so not far at all. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really liking what they've done with the mist here.
It's too much for my taste. It's just basically like Targoid just took a massive fart over it. I mean, seriously, what else are you supposed to think about this stuff? Seriously, it's just green or brownish green. It's just Targoid took a dump. Well, not fully a dump, but
just like me after having Mexican food.
Well, there's two. It's TMI.
This is the fog of war.
The mist was a different colour, though.
Ant, what do you have?
So it's a colour, yeah? You got the colour, pulling with the colour of the mist rather than the thickness of the mist, yeah?
No, thickness is... I can speculate really what this means in the game world, but all I see at this point as a normal player is basically just another template base with a fog on it and some ground effects on it slightly. So,
to me, this fog actually looks different to what we've had so far. Does it look any different to you, or?
It's thicker.
It looks different to the what do you call it? The normal fog you get on the planets and the craters. There's a term for it. I
Yeah,
can't
it's
remember what
about the
term is.
same. Again, it's localized, so it's more thicker and so on and so forth. So when it comes down to, again, game programming, what else is just the same fucking thing, just condensed. Really, that's all it is. I mean, it's very simple effect, sure, but hey, in a way, it's effective, I suppose. So there you are. Though there was an interesting thing that let's see if I can get up with my ship and back off, because that fucking fog was so far visible. It's amazing. Again, sure,
Yeah,
it's
you can see it from a long way
unnatural,
away.
but
It makes it easy to find the places, doesn't it?
yeah, sure, it makes it
Yeah,
easier
it makes
to
the places
find,
a
but
bit easier to find, yeah.
it's so fucking massive.
That's what she said.
Not to Yamik, she didn't.
Not exactly. No, that's the thing.
Not to Yamik, she didn't.
No,
Sorry.
we're talking about the fog. That joke doesn't work, unfortunately. I would have laughed. Unfortunately, it's just what kind of
I was amused.
person
I
would
laughed,
say, "Oh,
Proxim.
it's a massive fog." Oh my God, your ass gas has such a massive cloud. Oh yeah. Oh, but whatever. I'm party pooping here. Yes. So I don't know.
Personally, I think this site looks really good.
If the picture
Then
does, I'm
again,
heading there
I've
right
got
now.
the, let's have a look. That's not too much different. I've got some graphics mods on here. I normally see it with that on. Not too much difference. Kind of changes the consistency of the green. Yeah.
Yeah, do you run
A
reshade?
bit better with the. Yeah, I've got reshade going on.
Okay.
If you kind of take that off, it doesn't look quite so soupy. I see what you're saying, Yamix. If I disable it, it looks quite soupy. Yeah,
It looks like I like
looks
pea
you're
soup.
in a-
Right now,
Yeah,
ladies
look
and
like
gentlemen,
piece of-
Obsidian
exactly.
is describing a piece of shit. It's so soupy.
Yeah,
There we
soupy.
go.
Exactly.
Quote of the day.
Looks like pea soup. Yeah.
It does look like pea soup in the picture.
But it does.
That turd looks so soupy. Oh my.
I've got another
Actually,
question.
looks really different with the graphics mod on. So there you go.
Oh, man.
Oh man. The
another-
grading of the stream. Oh my yay.
I've got another question topic. If you know, not to rush this or anything, but what about? So, what do we think about the wonderful changes to Crime and Punishment?
What was that? Just describe us.
I haven't
Being able
looked
to-
at that
Describe the
at all.
thing.
So the two that are there now, there are two that I've run across so far that I've played with is being able to hand yourself in, and the fact that notoriety now expires as you just sit in a station AFK.
Finally.
Finally, I think that's pathetic.
I think that's great because every once in a while I'll get a bounty for something absolutely freaking stupid, and then I have to sit in Egypt doing absolutely nothing for 2 hours because the game's a piece of shit.
Well, now, okay,
This
so
works fine for me.
well, okay, so but I guess the reason I would say I think it's terrible is it even further diminishes Crime and Punishment in that if you are a just straight up murder hobo, right? Now it's even easier to not, or even more, you don't have to worry about notoriety, right? And by the way, not saying the notoriety mechanic is good, and by the way, and also Proxima, it's 1 point per hour now, but still. I think it's just like at one point you had to be moving or inputs to your ship. You had to do something. You couldn't just literally dock and walk away from a computer, which what the fuck is the point? Right? Like, how is that a penalty? That's what shit. I do that a lot of times anyway. I just land in the station and go do something else and just don't even bother logging out sometimes. Right? So I think it just further weakens it. And the mechanic of handing yourself in, I kind of accidentally did that, to be honest, the first time. And from a lore perspective, what? Like, I'm sitting in one station, I say, yeah, hand me in, and bam, instantly I've teleported 50 light years away to a detention center. To me, that it's just so dumb. So I'm curious if anybody actually finds that useful or likes it. Like, who was clamoring for that feature?
I still hate Crime and
But
Punishment in general terms, and I also think
Oh,
I'm stuck in the fucking game. God damn it! Never
Look, I
mind.
think they've kind of got a bit of the wrong end of the stick in the way they're approaching it. In the sense that they're punishing the wrong people.
Yeah,
You know,
Uh-huh.
why are we getting punished for accidentally shooting an NPC. So
or
you
accidentally
shoot two
clipping a
bullets at
ship.
NPC.
You clip a ship as you're leaving the station, and now you got a 50 credit fine. And like me, I got stuck out in the black with that, and I'm
fuck
fucked.
off, you
exactly.
wanker.
Right?
Yeah,
that's stupid.
You know, the
it's
penalties
odd
for.
because
No, go
initially
ahead,
the whole
sorry.
idea was to try and stop griefing. At least that's
Right.
what I always understood.
I-
What crime and punishment was about.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah, right.
now with the decaying notoriety and with the ability to just go and hand yourself in as long as you haven't got notoriety, then
Yeah, which is very easy to diminish.
Given
right?
the people who want to go and shoot someone and cause trouble,
That's right.
then
It's
they
even
can just go and
easier.
sit in the station and burn the
Yep.
notoriety off. So it's easier for them.
Yep.
But the people who didn't do any of that and then now
Yep.
do a bit of friendly fire on an NPC ship, they get told, well, what's your trigger finger? But you know, for 200 credit fine, I've accidentally shot 2 bullets into a NPC ship. That's actually not harmed any player. It's not taken anyone's time away or caused
right.
any problem. Why do I now have to waste 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes of my time sorting it all out?
Absolutely. 100%.
It's just
So
seems to be
basically,
hurting the wrong people now.
it doesn't hurt the criminals in any way really at all, and it does hurt upstanding citizens who just you like I think somebody said once, you get a traffic ticket and it's almost as bad a penalty as somebody who goes and commits murder, right?
Yeah, you're getting the same sort of punishment.
Yeah.
Mm.
In terms of time and pain in your assness, you definitely are.
Yeah. But then again, I wonder sometimes if Frontier perhaps don't see the player's time as a commodity in that sense. Obviously, they do in the sense that they like to encourage you to grind, but
Remember,
Oh, yeah,
your
just like,
time is
well,
valuable.
your time
You
is
don't
valuable.
want to waste your time,
yeah.
and your
Well,
time is not wasted.
They don't have to worry about it
Those are
because they don't
posts.
play
But
the game.
that doesn't translate, does it, into the experiences of the game?
Nope.
Yep. Well, they don't worry about it. They don't play the game.
No.
Let's not have that
No,
argument
just-
again.
Just no. Don't try. Just no.
I mean, because the thing for me is, I run plasmas when I go out bounty hunting, and the last time this happened was actually not even that long ago. I was bounty hunting, took a shot, and one of the NPCs that was not in the middle of the fight decided to fly right through my line of fire and got smacked by the class 4 plasma. Instant bounty. I had to go to the nearest system that had an interstellar factor, which fortunately for me was close by, and sit there for 2.5 hours waiting for my notoriety to go down to 0 just so I could clear it and come back. I spent half the night that I would had planned on actually doing something out in the middle of flipping nowhere doing nothing. Like that was my whole beef with it. I'm hoping that that's not so much of a problem now, but does anyone know where they've set the threshold now for the
They said they upped it.
for the assault bounties?
Yeah,
I mean,
they
they said
did
they upped it, but does
yeah.
anyone know how high?
No.
The friendly
I don't.
fires still seems a bit of a problem. I've had a bit of a look at that.
Yeah, agreed.
If you've got an unengineered chip, then you can unload a few salvos on a NPC and you'll be fine. But if you've got full-on engineered weapons, you
Right.
can fire for probably less than a second, and you're going to get that bounty.
Yeah.
I've got engineered 3 engineered beams on the crate, and I got
Okay.
a bounty last night. I don't even know how. it
Did you
actually
really?
happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I clipped something. I don't know what I did. It was my fault. Happens,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I mean,
But
yes,
it's
but at
just-
the same time, like you
it's a
said,
pain.
it's your fault. But that little mistake then causes you so much time and pain in the ass factor that really, again, where a murderer goes out and murders somebody, and they absolutely should be dealing with something very severe for committing murder. Yet it's not really much any more of a pain in their ass than your bounty you got was a pain in yours, right?
Yeah, I'd personally rather see a huge fine for it rather than a bounty and you having to run around, than all the friendlies in the area turning hostile towards you. I'd rather see that friendly fire just issue you a massive bounty, whether it's 10,000 credits or 100,000, whatever.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot of money, and some people would struggle to pay it off, but the difference is you can earn that credits over time, so
That's right.
it's not interrupting the flow of your
That's
gameplay. You can go
absolutely
away
right.
and earn that credit as and when you want to pay that fine off. But now it currently interrupts the flow, and that's a big deal.
Yep. Yep. Your video you did a while back, I think you did a video like analyzing it, right? Like, didn't you? Like, here's what we really wanted, what they talked about, and here's what we got, and the two don't line up at all, really.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, people kind of joke, say Frontier don't really play their own game. I don't think it's really that. I just
Bullshit.
think, I think they play the game. They just see it in a different way to us.
Well, I would argue they don't
they don't-
live with the game like we do. That would be my argument.
They don't.
Oh, that's
yeah,
for sure.
don't-
They are
don't see it
working
from the same
on
perspective
elements
as the fans.
further down the line. That's also another interesting thing. You
Well,
have to
I mean,
remember
I'll make a
most
little
of them
example.
do.
When a buddy of mine the other day stream sniped Paige as she was, flying around in open. So Paige, employee, obviously should know the game fantastically, is flying around in open in an unshielded Type 6. Like, that just made me go, are you kidding me? Really? That's, like, you're supposed to know the game and work for the company, and you don't know to not fly around in that ship?
Let's start the PvP battle here. So the question is, why do you need to snipe someone then?
Oh, no. That's not my point. Absolutely. I'm
no,
not saying...
yeah, okay, but
Right.
but still, she's just flying, thinking, I do my own business. I do
Oh, but
the
she's going to
stream,
get grabbed by an
I'm-
NPC and get killed. It's not that she got killed by a player. It's flying an
No.
unshielded Type 6 in open, or flying an unshielded Type 6, period, is stupid. Right? I'm going to just make that as a blanket statement. Right? And that's where, again, I go back to, in my opinion, they certainly don't live with the game in the way that we live with the game. But
fly
we've
without
debated
shields
that
in
enough.
open too. When I want to get fucked, even when I want to get fucked, I sometimes don't get fucked. But well, that's a different story. But still,
Well, let's go.
I don't know.
Well, and also, I'm going to throw this out there too. You actually have to understand like the context of Paige's employment. She is the social media manager. She has nothing to do with any of the games
No,
themselves.
yeah, right. But she still should know the game better than that, in my opinion. Right?
not necessarily. No,
Not gonna say, 'cause
that's
she
not
spends
in-
all her time on Twitter, Facebook,
Yeah.
or Reddit, all
her
that kind of
task,
stuff. She doesn't play
her
the
task
game.
is a lot different than you think, and
No, I know it
her,
is. I know it is.
requirement of knowing the game is a bonus, and the fact that she knows, I talked with her. She's a fantastic gal, and yeah, but she's not just like a casual player. Essentially, she's on the casual player's level, which is fine, which is in fact rather good, because at least she can give that insight on the devs in case they ask for. But
Sure.
she doesn't communicate with developers or the team itself as much as Bo, Ed, and Will would. She's just, again, she's social media manager, if I remember correctly. The exact
Yeah, I do
title
think
of
that's
the
her
job.
title.
So,
Yeah.
but it's not required for her to, know the game in and out completely. So, yeah, that expectation is no. Just no. Even I
we'll
played
agree
a
to disagree.
fucking game like no, I played a fucking game for fucking ever. I make content for it, and well, I am in the position I am, and yet I barely know, most intricacies of fucking PvP. And now, will you really somehow penalize me for that, or just look down on me because of that? Fuck no. Fuck you. So, get in? Do you get the point?
I disagree with the point, but I get the point you're trying to make.
Well, good.
Let's move on because we've bit that to death. Is there anything else we want to go over that's new since we've got 10 minutes to go?
All right, let me quickly just go over them. Let's see what we got. Okay, so let's start from the start. So, mission scenarios. We got some new wing missions on mining. Who cares about that? Raise your hand.
My hand's not raised.
No one. Okay, moving on. Added high threat USSs. We talked about that. Megaship interactions. For megaship and installation interactions. I guess someone cares. Fine, we talked about that.
We talked about that.
Crime and punishment. Just talked about that. New weapons. Okay, so in short, we're gonna get more, or rather, we already have more weapons, more modules that are, gathered from Guardian crap and unlocked. So you're basically grinding so you can unlock the option to buy something later. How stupid is that? Sometimes, just it sounds stupid, at least to me. Anyways, that's that. We got large
Well, quickly,
versions of,
well, before you move on from that, I would say one thing I will say that I think is fantastic is how much they lowered the requirements for all the unlocks. Right, I was hugely pleasantly surprised to see it.
I don't want to paint it in any bright or good light because at this point it's still a grind. The fact that you're asked to grind your fucking time for fixed gimbaled and turreted versions
yes,
of the
that's
weapon separately.
Yes, agree.
No,
Agree.
It's fucking unforgivable. No.
But I'm going to say the Guardian Power
No,
Plant distributor and SD booster, I actually think those are fantastic. I think the requirements are
I don't
great.
care about that.
Right.
You're still asked to go and do that stupid Guardian circle jerk dance.
Yeah, but you only got to do it
Several
once.
times for every module. You need to do it once.
You've got,
For
you've got to do it
FSD
several
boosters.
times, but once just for that each module, basically 2 at the most.
Yeah.
Some modules ask for it twice.
So
Mostly
what?
it's
It's so segmented. It's so separated. Again, for someone that, let's say, a completion, not even a completionist, someone like me that just simply enjoys unlocking things or wants to unlock things, so later on he can test out things. There are plenty of players like that. Will be forced if they want to do that. Just go and do it multiple times. They're fantastic. I love to repeat something that is actually decent. So many times it becomes worthless. Thank you. That's sort of the point there, but well, oh well.
the end.
Turgeon,
No, yeah.
Well said.
I was saying though, I think what they should have is you should have one blueprint. You should do that pylon run once to unlock being able to talk to the damn Guardian broker.
Perfect idea.
You know?
Okay.
Perfect idea.
And then after that, all the stuff can be just standard stuff. And then if you want to go back and do the pylon thing again, instead of dropping a blueprint, it'll drop like twice as much of the Sentinel parts or something that you need. So you get a reward for doing it again, but you don't have to do it
Yeah,
again.
okay. That's fair.
You know? I mean, it's
They
I
just simply
this
love that RNG
beautiful.
so much they
But-
want to fuck it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alex is dead right. It cheapens it by making you do it again. It's a
Oh, I agree
wonderful
with-
thing to do, and then
Yeah.
once, and then you come back a week or two later and go, do you know, that was really cool. I'll go and have another look at that, and it's cool. But not if you have to do it 10 bloody times in a
Well,
row.
I've done it
Then it's not
64
cool.
times.
Then
so.
it's just annoying.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
and
poor
it just gets
fucking
annoying.
soul.
Right. And so I guess the only point I was trying
That's
to make
not
is at least they cut the requirements by 8x, right? So it's certainly a shit
No.
ton better than it was before. It's not great, right? I'm just
Wrong
trying
facts.
to say
Wrong
one good
Wrong
thing
facts.
here, right?
So to explain people what happened there, the way they cut the requirements was that the data piece you get from scanning that ball was divided by 4. So instead of 4 units, now you need only 1.
It was
But
8 for some
rest, well, now you need two for them. So yeah, it's divided by 4. So it's divided by 4, but rest of the data, the Guardian module thingamajigs that you pick up from destroyed Sentinels
Yeah,
and so on and so
destroyed
forth,
Sentinels, yeah.
that
Yeah.
stuff is reduced by only 2.
Yes,
So
halved, isn't
by a
it?
factor of 2. So it's halved, exactly. So that's what happened there. And commodity, well, that doesn't matter. You're still gonna have to go out there and pick it up. It doesn't matter if it's 1, 10, or 20 or what else. That's the situation. They didn't really have it. Well, they maybe reduce it by 3 times, depending on the time you spend. Whatever, doesn't matter. Anyways, moving on then from the modules. Or does anyone else has anything else to say?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay. In that case, next we have some narrative stuff. Okay, we talked about the ships quite extensively, in fact. And then we have some fixes. Let me pick up something. So we talked about the stupid wires. I don't see the fucking difference, but then again, you know, I don't pay attention where the fucking misplaced bag of shit on my in my cockpit is placed now instead of, you know, the last patch or something. I don't care. It still looks like garbage. Anyways, after that we have missions. All right, there is the one particular thing that I really like to see. So let me read that. So removed the timed element from assassination missions, so the target's no longer limited to spawning within time window. Players can scan the system nav beacon or, do the planetary advanced scanner thingamajig, and it will show up the location just like with black boxes and other things. So rejoice, folks! The worst mission in the game is finally neutered properly, instead of half neutered or somewhat else. Anyways.
Yeah, I actually didn't do the assassination missions because of that reason.
Yep.
Waited around for half hour before the guy spawns. I literally just never accepted him.
Game designer will tell you, but Obsidian, you can go do something else in the meantime. Why don't you go and do that? Fuck you. That's how it feels sometimes.
Yeah.
It's one of these odd occasions where that actually was harking back to the game, the missions in Frontier Elite 2, because you took an assassination mission, and because there was like time passing in the game, and you jump from system to system and you watch the clock go up by days as you were jumping. You can't do that in an online game. But in that one you did that, and you knew that the mission target, your assassination target, was going to arrive in X system at Y time. And you could get there before him, because you knew he was going to turn up, and he dropped out of hyperspace and you could be waiting for him. Or you could arrive late and he'd be on his way to the station. But there was a time component, there was a time limit. Now, this is one element of, I'm always banging on about, I want to keep the law from the past. I'm happy to change that one. I don't see that is really necessary in an online game with the time constraints we have. So removing, you have to shoot this guy between this time and this time, I'm happy with that. That's good. I like that change.
Sure, it's more realistic that way, and sure, this game is kind of a simulator, fine. But bottom line is, still, this is a game rather than... Well, simulators are really no fun. They're really no fun. They can be interesting from time to time, but you're not going to play them as avidly as you would, a proper entertainment piece. And it's interesting that designers over at Frontier back in the day who designed this thing, it was around 2012, they, I don't care from which type of background you come, it's kind of clear that making something time specific, in this specific time you'll find something X, Y, and Z without the ability to skip that time is a really, really bad design choice. There are reasons why games don't have that mechanic in them. There are reasons why there are, missions where you arrive at the place and then the timer starts for, execute X amount of enemies in that time frame. Yeah, that sort of missions, there's a reason. That gives you, reason to just go after them rather than just tank them or bait them or what the hell. So yeah. But specific time, go and do something when the time comes, no. That design choice, I'm surprised that people from 2000 and let's say 10 even thought that was acceptable in modern day gaming. Really. And that's just me, of course, but fucking hell. It's like fucking amateurs made the fucking game.
Well, I don't think I can think of any other example of a game that actually makes you walk away from the game while you're waiting for something to happen. Is there many other games?
That's exactly
like that?
the reason why. No game wants you to walk away from it.
Exactly. Yeah, that should.
Yeah.
It's usually the opposite, isn't it? They do whatever they can to keep you sat at the seat.
Right. So, all right. That aside. So yeah, now assassination missions are basically you pick them up and arrive at the place, scan the system, and boom, you go and kill the fucker if you once you find where he's hiding. There you go. That's it. Raised payout rates for elite rank mining missions. Say what? Okay, that's an interesting. Anyways, fuck it. Doesn't matter. There's apparently something like that. Let's see. NPCs don't care. Outfitting don't care. There's still no change that I want in outfitting. Anyways, SRVs, nothing. Alliance Chieftain, nothing. Anaconda, we talked about the wires. we talked about the reduction in tech broker blueprints, and that would be it on the whole patch. So there's really nothing else to talk much about.
I've got a question for you, Yamix. You said, I'm just curious. You just said no change to outfitting that you would want. I'm just curious what you have in mind.
So the simplest change that has been plaguing everyone's time, because your time is valuable, we don't want to waste your time, was the fact whenever you sell a weapon or a hard point, it always packs back in, locking. Shut up.
No, I agree.
Locking your game completely, so you can go fuck yourself while the weapon packs in, so you can pack yourself, so to speak. That is the issue. That's the biggest fucking issue I have with outfitting.
I'm shaking my
head.
And
the funny thing is,
totally agree.
So basically, another thing is, I made a fucking video about this as well. I did compare when you actually pack, basically when you sell one weapon at a time, or when you mark in the storage, when you mark all the weapons and store them, and then sell them through storage. Guess what? Putting them in the storage and then selling them is faster, because you only have to wait for the longest pack-in time that one weapon has, rather than waiting for each one of them.
Yep.
That's retarded.
Yep.
There's no other way of explaining it. This was I think it was one of the first quality of life improvements that I asked for in my first video that I made about quality of life. And of course, there's another issue about outfitting, that there's a high requirement for redesign on UI. Storage is horrible UI. You basically can barely find whatever you want. Experimental tab is completely just filled with different things that don't make sense in one selection. And of course, limpens. There are fucking 8 limpen types. And of course, devs did address limpens, but people, limpens are not the only issue in the UI, in the station UI. So there you go. That's what I would say would be nice to see.
I would also, I don't know if you mentioned this in one of yours, but I've always wanted to see the ability to save a loadout.
Oh, save. Yeah, I did mention loadout saves, but that's kind of an iffy thing. You need you need specific modules and so on and so forth. As soon as you have, it's more of an issue to put in, but sure, it would be nice to put in.
I mean, let's put it this. Let's say you had a loadout that you said load this loadout, and if something wasn't in storage for it, obviously, it wouldn't do that.
Either you load whatever you can, or don't load it.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of nice. That'd be nice, right?
Especially now that you want to swap. You engineer. I mean, look, all of the new ships use Class 6 frame. All the new ships use Class 6 thrusters, right? Why do I want to engineer more than one set of Class 6 thrusters, right? Of course, I'm gonna swap it between the ships. So heaven forbid that be made easy for me, right?
Your time is valuable, as they say, right? Anyways, so I guess that'd be it on the patch notes. I don't know if everyone else or anyone else has anything else to say. If
not that I can think of, no.
Well, in that case, let's just go over the basic ideas, or rather basic feel of the patch. So, in just a couple of words, maybe not explain, but rather give your opinion on the patch. So let's start with the elusive Turgeon, if Turgeon's around. I take it not. In that case, Paroxym, go for it, since you talk the least. Ha!
Ha! I'm just gonna say, I think we haven't quite seen everything that Chapter 2 has got. Obviously, we're still too close to the beginning of it.
I mean, there are target places, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I'm just waiting for Chapter 4. That's what it boils down to for me. I am neither pleased nor displeased. I am just middle of the road waiting for Chapter 4.
Alright, Exegius or Obsidian? I don't know which one.
I'll go next. I'll let Obsidian have the last
Yeah, go
word
for it. Go
toward
on.
the end. You know, I'd say that to me, I think in general, I'm happy with it. I mean, I don't think there's anything in it that I'm upset about or I think is overly stupid, you know, which is very uncommon. I think to me, it's a stretch unless there is some Thargoid stuff that we haven't seen yet, which, you know, I mean, big stuff, right? I don't see why it's called Chapter 2. To me, it's Chapter 1.1 at best. And so, you know, I see it in that light. I'm happy with it. As a Chapter 2, I think it's mildly disappointing, right? You know, I think the reductions to some of the grind is nice. I think the new ships are nice. I think I just got to that new pea covered base right now, and you know, it's atmospherically cool. When we're done, I'm going to jump into VR so I can check it out in VR. But I think all that is nice, but I don't think there's anything. I would think that if I'm, you know, somebody who hasn't played the game in a while, I don't know that this would bring me back. Right. And for me, I think the FSD booster is probably the single best thing for me in a sense, or in that it fundamentally, you know, I talked about this earlier. It fundamentally
It
changes.
allows very shitty ships to finally travel far.
Yeah, and my
decent,
DBX, like I just got my DBX and it's now got a 73 light year range, right? That's pretty great. I got down here, you know, probably 2 jumps quicker than I would have otherwise. So, you know, that is a real measurable difference in my time, and it was easy enough to unlock it. I think it's easy enough to unlock it for anybody. So I think it's those things, and as I was trying to say earlier with the power plant and the distributor, I think it lessens the need for engineering for casual players, right? You know, unlock these once and then just buy them versus unlock an engineer, grind for materials, do the upgrades for each ship, right? So I think those are positive changes. I think overall it's positive. I just think it's a Chapter 1.1 and not a Chapter 2.
Okie dokie. Obsidian?
Yeah, I think for me, it pretty much got what I was expecting to get. I mean, we've known for close to a year now that Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 were going to be small updates. They shut off, obviously, the crate back then, so that was bound to come sooner rather than later. Chapter 3 is probably going to be pretty much the same. I agree with what Exegius says. There's probably not a lot here that's going to bring people back if they've been away from the game for a very long time, but people who've been away for a little while, they're probably enough here to come back and have a look at. Personally, I like the crate and I like the ship. I like the new sites that we've seen, but they're a bit of a one-hit thing. You come down and have a look at them and you probably won't come back again, but
yeah,
they're nice little things. They've got a bit of a backstory.
It sure would have been nice if there were materials here a la Dav's Hope, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there's kind of stuff at the Crashed Anaconda.
Yeah, I'm going to go to that next. Yeah. Does anybody have a link to that or a system name for that, if I can ask?
Proxim should have that.
Okay, yeah, Proxim, if you could share it, that'd be great.
I'll put that in my chat here again as well. But
okay, great.
Basically, you can get some... with the new installations, someone pointed out as well, wasn't it? I can't remember if it was you, Exegius. I think it was, saying that we can get the materials from those places as well.
From where again?
From the installations.
I you know, especially the data rewards. To me, the data rewards at the installations, like I'm going to use the installations now for data versus going to the planetary bases, right? Like to me, so far, no question, it's more fun and it's easier and it's faster.
So, and in short, really, I'm kind of pleased with all the little updates there. I think Yamix has said before he'd like to see an update that's just a quality of life update. I think that's really the only thing that would have really been good for Chapter 2, other than what we've already got. But yeah, it's hard really to say much. We knew it wasn't going to be too much, so I don't think we can really sit here and say, oh, well, it's a crap update in terms of its size, because it wasn't going to be much anyway. But yeah, for what's there, I'm quite happy with it. If, on the other hand, we get to Chapter 4 and Chapter 4 comes out and we've only got a few bits and pieces, then I'll probably be one of the first to moan. So yeah. Yamix?
Right. Well then,
take us out.
Yeah.
Yamix.
Well. All right. So. Oh boy. So the Chapter 2, the what the fuck ever it was called, I don't care anymore. I did mention, yes, that I much rather prefer quality of life improvements, and the reason why I prefer quality of life improvements is the fact that, well, it showcases the fact that developers are refining the game, that they are improving it rather than just pushing out more content. That I'm sitting in one right now. Yeah, and even this is the perfect opportunity. I did mention in again my little thingamajig that I released when the patch dropped. This is the perfect time when you can release absolutely nothing and still look like you're doing a lot of changes. In fact, most important changes in the whole year, by just tasking a couple of people of fixing many little things that are constantly annoying us. And I'm not talking about actually coding too much. Balancing doesn't take coding. Again, rebalancing fucking weapons can a QA team do easily without much knowledge of how coding goes. You just need to know how to do spreadsheets, and let's be honest, QA teams do know how spreadsheets work. They're not like bass players, right? Or bass players, sorry. Anyways, moving on then.
Bass.
So yeah, quality of life, bass. Yeah, just take the fucking raw fish and just string it. Anyways, but yeah, just make a quality of life improvement list, a massive one, and do it. I'll be happy about that because, well, guess what? My experience is improved and everyone else's as well, making the product, aka this game, replayable a lot more without frustration of the old issues. And now those that would, come back would see, oh, the new UI, or oh, well, the game is faster loading, or oh, this particular thing is, no more necessary to be done before I can do something that I liked, or what else. These little things do add up. These little things, in fact, I've actually always championed as rather the most important things of any patch, and I was fucking surprised to see that there was basically just that mission change and the blueprint change. That's it. Maybe some wire change, whatever. Bottom line is, I was just disappointed, heavily disappointed to see there's just nothing. 2 ships, yeah, sure, I like ships, but ships should be like the icing on the cake rather than the fucking cake itself. So, there you go. Oh well, maybe they'll learn for the next update and they'll actually bring out something for us, but no, there will be another 2 ships. We already pretty much know that there are Krait Phantom and Alliance Crusader coming, so well, there you go. That's my summary of the whole thing. I don't know if there's anything else to add, but yes, no, I presume not. Stop me if you want to say.
No, works for me.
All right then. Okay, dokie. Well, before we end up, of course, I got to say massive thanks to Paroxym. Yeah, let's start with you for joining in. So those of you that don't know Paroxym, of course, a fellow content creator on YouTube and all that stuff. You can look him up by name, even though you might need to just click on a couple of things. But whatever, you can find him on YouTube anyways. Obsidian Ant, the great and
powerful
one and only. No, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah, the one and only. Yes. So, I shall not give anyone the title I get. Whatever.
It's so the man, the voice, the ant.
Hey, Turchin's back.
There you are.
So,
Ant, in one of my videos, I said something about you, and I called you the infamous Obsidian Ant. Everybody was like, well, what did he do? And I was like, oh my God, it was a joke. Everybody's all of a sudden like, well, what are you calling an ant for, right? I was like, no, it was just a joke. Calm down.
What was it about him? I do remember Obsidian calling me that, but
yeah, but that works, doesn't it? Yeah, mix the infamous.
Oh yes, of course it does.
Of course it does.
That's it.
I am the great and powerful one. Anyways, so also big thanks to Turgeon for, I guess, popping in from time to time as well. So,
cheers.
Indeed, and Exigius, who, as a matter of fact, today or yesterday or days ago, well, reached the 10,000 subscribers.
It was this morning.
Congratulations there, buddy.
Thank you. It was this morning.
So, well, there you go.
Yeah.
All these fuckers are found on YouTube's. Wait, what was my name? I forgot.
The great and powerful Yamix, I think we decided.
Maybe, yes, right. So there you go. That'd be me. So thanks, people, for joining in. Of course, do let us know what you would like to see for the content creators table for the next week, and they'll be coming back on Friday about the same time, on 5 p.m. GMT 0. So
And for everyone else, make sure you hang around for a few bits, because I think most of us will probably be talking to our own streams.
Yep.
I'll do a
stream,
couple
definitely.
of. I'll do a
Yeah,
couple of
say,
thanks and all that stuff.
I'm actually going to be starting up a stream here in about 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
I'm going to be visiting the Thargoid sites for the people that haven't been.
Well, in any case, do whatever you want. I'll be leaving you to it. And once more, thanks for tuning in. At least for the discussion partners here and everyone else as well. Remember, we're staying online for a little bit more for a couple of thanks and all the little endings and what else. But that's about it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on next Friday.
Thanks, everybody.
See you, everyone.
Catch you all soon. Thanks.
Bye. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to jump into our Discord. Let's see. Well, we've got a few in here. Let's join in.
Through our nature that we've killed other people to get ahead of ourselves.
Okay, wait. When did this become the political? We gotta unpoliticalize this channel real quick.
By
man.
the way, just quickly, I just realized I jumped into the public channel. I'm going to jump down to live stream. We just finished the creator live stream, and I've still got the stream going. If anybody would like to join, jump down and join. I didn't want to. Apparently, I must have joined during something heated, so I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to.
It's just being so bullshit.
Right, here's the thing. Right, we all feel bad for you because they already stealth nerfed our little exploit.
Oh, I mean that's fine. I've got plenty of credits at the moment myself, right? But yeah, I'm gonna follow the rules and jump down there. So if you guys want to chat, and please do if you feel, I'm gonna head down there. So come join me if you'd like. Because I've got. Let's see. Hey, Velvet, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad.
I've been wanting to join you for a little while. I just finally filled out everything.
Well, I'm glad you finally did. And I'll say this just quickly for everybody that's still on stream. I say this all the time. Everybody's always welcome to come join and chat with us. We're in Discord now. The links for both should be pretty readily available in both the Twitch stream and YouTube. Fuck, I just realized I don't think I updated the title on Twitch today. I always forget to do Twitch. For my whopping 2 viewers I have on Twitch at the moment. If you guys want to come, whoa, shit, I'm not paying attention. I'm hitting the ground. If you guys want to come chat with us, please do. I'm curious what folks' thoughts were on the chat today, and on basically just in general on 3-1. Oh, God damn it! How did I wind up at the wrong damn site again? I'm trying to find this. There's a new Crashed Anaconda site, and I keep looking at the wrong damn. Oh wait, no, it should be right here. -11 by -96. It should be right around here somewhere. Let me turn my gamma back up. Because I actually do want to go back to the, if you guys just saw the Thargoid site that I was at, I want to go back to that here shortly, because I did think it looked pretty sweet. Yeah, what's, other folks, I see some folks have joined. I mean, I think maybe I'll start with the first question is, what do you guys think in terms of, is this update something that, wants to make you come back and play the game if you've not been in the game for a while? At first, actually, if Zadori wants to answer that, I'm going to put him on the spot since you have been away from the game a little bit, but around with us, are there things in the game that just got added that make you want to come back and start to play some, or are you still,
Probably the new ships and
okay,
and the booster stuff.
Okay.
And the Guardian stuff, because I haven't been doing it before, so I need to do it.
Okay, and so like now that for the booster, for example, or even if you wanted the booster, the power plant, the distributor, the fact that you only have to do that puzzle 3 times, does that then make that start to be interesting?
it's much more fun to only do it 3 times instead of 8, 7.
Yeah, it
35 times.
definitely is. I mean, I would agree, given that I've done it quite literally 64 times now. So, you know, I can relate and agree to that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Any others? You know, any of the folks that have joined? Hammer, are you a regular player? Are you new to the game? Where are you?
Oh yeah, I've been playing for about 3 years.
Okay.
On the game, and I just playing pretty casually, like on and off with updates, as well, because there's really been very slow progress in content for this game. But it's always been interesting to me, so I come back for the updates, play for a while, see what's new. This one, I really don't see too many things. I would say that hopefully there's a bit more balance with some issues I have seen. I don't like the whole. One of the things that's kept me away is kind of the gold rushes and stuff. I don't like that about this game. I think that they've made. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, in what way? Do you mean, like, in other words, you don't like that there are gold rushes, that people take advantage of the gold rushes, that gold rushes are necessary?
It's the way the economy is set up in this game. It facilitates gold rushing, and it's to me it's a killer. I think it will kill the player base in the long run, by having these kind of issues.
Yeah, and I don't disagree, right? I mean, you know, I've always said that, you know, unfortunately, it's sad that the game is so based around credits, and which, you know, also sadly necessitates gold rushes, right? In that, you know, when one comes along, you want to take advantage of it, you know, because you know, it's the, you know, essentially the credits are what you do so that you can then play the game how you want to later, right? And you know, in that sense, I think that it's a shame that they do exist in the way that they do, right?
Exactly. I find myself coming in here looking for gold rushes, and I don't want to do that, and that's why I say it's like a love-hate kind of, pretty much. It's like you want the credits because that's the way the economy's set up, but you don't like, and
right.
You just kind of lose the heart of the gameplay of the game, trying to find some stupid credits. You know, it's sad the way it's just kind of set up like that.
Well,
Yeah.
it could be considered 2 different play styles, right? I mean, you know, I don't have the time all the time to grind out the credits, so Gold Rush is advantageous for me. But there's plenty of missions and things that I like to do that pay gold. That's just fine, right? As far as game goes out. But it's just, I think it's time versus what your playstyle is. Like, I think you can do it either way.
Yeah, I mean,
I do agree, for sure.
Yeah, I think none of us, you know, I think we all would agree that it would be nice if the economy of the game and the mission system and stuff paid, you know, in a reasonable way, right? So that it didn't necessitate, gold rushes, right? You know, but sadly, the way it's set up, it does. And, you know, because of that, we're all stuck, you know, as soon as one comes along, rushing as fast as we can to, you know, to going to do that, right? And while fortunately I did do the last gold rush enough that I've got enough credits in a way, I wish I hadn't missed out on the new one that just popped in, because that's, you know, that was credits that I wouldn't have to otherwise, you know, I wouldn't have to deal with later.
Grind out.
Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. Where the hell is this anaconda? I should be right the hell on top of it. It's at -11.1 by -96.0, and that is right where the hell I am.
Is that the new anaconda crash site?
Yeah. Well, it's a quote unquote new one.
New one.
I had problems with it spawning, and when I got there, it took to me like getting within 2 meters for it to actually render.
All right, maybe I'll jump out and jump back in and see if that'll get it to re-render. Because I'm literally floating right over where it should be. It's like
negative. Take the SRV down.
It's just because it's so fucking dark, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was out there with.
Why do they do that too? It's like they're always dark.
I mean, I mean, you know, it's because of where it is on the planet and stuff like that, and that doesn't necessarily bother me, right? But then again, you know, since our ship lights are so damn weak, right? I mean, like,
And it's the year 3304, and we don't have night vision.
well, and that's true, and I know part of the reason, just from a technical perspective, the reason that our ship lights aren't any brighter or longer range than they are is simply because of game engine stuff, right? Like at one point, apparently, they made those much longer range, and it you know, completely destroyed the performance of the game. So because of that, they basically, you know, lessened it to what we have now, right?
So
that's
in
interesting.
true FDev fashion, let's be honest there.
Right. You know, rather than kind of fix it,
something-
let's just take it away,
Yeah.
right?
Something doesn't work, so we'll just remove it. I mean,
Yeah.
have you seen what they've done with the missions? They, as far as we can tell, they've fully lowered every single mission payout because of this one mission being currently broken.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely sounds like Frontier, right?
I mean, I think Reva will like say I called it as soon as we started doing this. Like they're gonna nerf every single mission because of this.
Right. Well, and they'll
Well,
fix it on Thursday.
Well, and it's like, you know, in that sense, it's like when the skimmer missions were paying, you know, in their opinion, paying too much, right? Rather than quote unquote fix it or balance anything, they just take it out of the damn game. Right.
Yeah, I mean, these missions, right? I mean, we'll admit, right? 45 million for 90 units of a material, probably not exactly balanced.
Right. We'll all agree that that's basically
that's a little
broken,
bit,
but
that's a bit overkill. But I mean,
yeah.
The fact is that they've nerfed every single mission because this one is broken.
How often is it that they respond to something without an option that reads break glass?
Yeah.
I mean,
We
like,
also know their QA isn't that great, and so, you know, I mean, it's obvious that the code is in a very interesting state when anytime they touch it in one place, it breaks in another. And so, you know, they don't have the choice. They have to, like, go figure out where they broke it, and so they have to take, you know,
right.
How long did it take skimmer missions to come back?
Oh,
6 months?
Wing missions.
It wasn't that long, but it was a while, right?
It felt long.
They've managed to fully break wing missions. Because there is points where you'll take a wing mission, you'll do it, you'll give all the things, and then you'll try to collect your reward. And it'll lock up on the screen asking you what reward you want to pick.
Yep.
You won't be able to pick your reward.
Yeah.
There are wing missions that physically cannot be selected for no reason at all. It will say, like, it'll give you the message about the mission being unable to be taken.
Have you ever done a mission where where you're rescuing a station and the and the rescue ship moves? And you can't turn in any missions because the rescue ships bind to the station on fire. So all of them are from, like, you know, whatever system that is. And then if you don't turn them in, like I did a bunch of missions on a Wednesday, and then the ship moved on a Thursday, and I came back the next week to turn them in. They wouldn't accept them because they weren't from the same system, right? They weren't just rescue mission ships. So yeah, a couple of broken things there.
Well, a little bit off topic, but I've just realised how actually beautiful the Lakon Challenger cockpit is. That's the Alliance Challenger, but it's Lakon.
Yeah, nice.
And it is
really,
but,
really well done.
Yeah, and you know the complaint that I made though is it's exactly the same as the Chieftain. I mean, I see, like, if you put me in one, if you put me in one and said, hey, which one of these are you in? You know, gun to my head, figure it out, right? There's no chance I'm going to know which one it is.
I mean, the thing is, right, in my honest opinion, they've just made the Chieftain the most pointless ship in the game because
I don't get it either.
Challenger is a Chieftain, but better.
Yep.
There's no functional difference between the two, other than that the Challenger is better. It might have a single less large hardpoint, but to be fair, what are we putting in that large hardpoint anyway that we can't do with everything else?
Yeah, no, and I would much rather have the three mediums versus two large and one medium, right? You're going to get more DPS that way, right? So I would rather have that loadout anyway, right? So it's, you know, it's nice to get a new ship and everything, but as I kind of said before, it's such a head scratcher to me that I don't get it, right?
I mean, they already leaked the ships that we're going to be getting in Q3. And honestly, I'm hoping that the Crusader isn't just the Challenger, but better. I honestly want it to be like an Alliance edition to the Big Three.
My gut says, as Obsidian said, because the challenge, since the Avenger, is that what it is? The new one, the Alliance Avenger, Crusader. Thank you. Since that is a small class, tank, and since they've gone by the British tank names, right? Potentially, it's going to be a small class ship, right? Which I think you guys know I love the small class ships, so I don't think that's bad.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I don't want another medium Alliance ship. I want a small one that's fast, has lighter weapons, but it does what it does best, as being like a smaller fighter sort of thing. Or an addition to the Big Three, because let's be honest, we're all sick of seeing Anacondas, Corvettes, and Cutters and nothing else.
Agreed, right. And by the way, this is driving me crazy. I'm looking at Proxim's screenshot, and he's at negative 11.09 and negative 96.03, and that's, somebody tell me I'm crazy, because that's exactly where I am.
Yeah, try landing on the surface and deploying your SRV.
Yeah, I guess I can try that.
It's a bit of a common issue that sometimes things just won't spawn in unless you're in your SRV.
I've just never
I love it when Ramsey says that it's a good idea. I'll just tease it.
Yeah, I've seen stuff not spawn. I guess I've just never seen it this bad before.
Yeah, I literally had it where I deployed my SRV.
They have
ship
mentioned,
popped up.
Although, actually, as I've mentioned it, they might have removed it in a recent hotfix. They might have removed it in the hotfix that happened today, server side.
Oh, that's a possibility.
Because they removed a bunch of the new things that they added because they were causing people to crash. Hold on, I'm going to quickly check
I had lots of issues last night with stuff crashing and not being able to.
Yeah, I'm checking it.
Right.
What was it?
Yeah, Rotting Pope. I'm the same way. Rotting Pope. What a damn name. That's great. Somebody in chat's named Rotting Pope. That's awesome.
That's classic.
Nice. Which system planet are you in?
So I'm in HIP 19284.
Yeah, that's not one of the removed ones. It should be there.
A2D. Right?
Yeah, they've got a list of the ones that had to be removed because of crashing.
And
yeah, that's not one of them, sadly.
Basically on top of it, let me make sure. So it's 96.03. Is that no? I'm heading the wrong direction. Let's go the other way. Sorry, we can keep talking while I'm looking for it. I just feel like what the hell am I missing? Like, how can there be a giant Anaconda crash here that I can't see?
Yeah, there's also like there's a lot of people going on about the Imperial ships. That they've got one small and two big. They haven't really got a middle ground like the Federation have. The Alliance have a middle ground as well now. So you basically you have a small fighter, or you have a ship that should fit on a medium pad but doesn't because it's got huge wings for some reason. Like, you can't really use them on outposts as such.
Okay, I've just got to think this is bugged because I'm almost exactly to the coordinate where he is, and there's nothing here.
Hold on, are you on the right planet? That's the question.
It's supposed to be on the same planet that that Thargoid base that I just was at was on, and that's and I'm still on that planet, and it is clearly not here. Right? Again, I'm looking at his screen. Let me confirm. Wait a minute! No, it is the wrong goddamn planet. It's on 16613. God damn it! He told me it was the same fucking planet.
I knew it. Got trolled.
Right. Hold on, I just asked him. You said it was on the same planet, right? But the screen. Damn you.
I was going to mention that, but I didn't want to sound...
No, I wish you had, because I'm sitting here like, what the fuck? Right?
Yeah, he just thinks he's going crazy.
Getting trolled.
No, he's on the wrong planet.
Getting trolled. Well, and here's the thing. Here's the thing, too, right? Like, we assume that it's just not here because it's a bug more than I'm in the wrong place, because certainly we're not assuming I'm intelligent, right? But we're assuming the game's bugged because the game is so goddamn bugged, right?
I've got a screenshot that should just summarize like the standards of FDev's code. of me trying to board my Anaconda and failing horrifically. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll put it in the Discord.
Yeah, because see, even I'm looking at my chat with Proxim. He even said when you're at the other site, go at a heading of 68 degrees, and you'll, in just in normal space, and you'll get there. But maybe he was in general talking about the other. So I'm going to fly back because I wanted to go visit that other site that I was at just a second ago. I wanted to visit that in VR before I actually left. So I'm going to head back there while we're keeping chat, because I think that's going to now show in my nav panel. It should, since I scanned it.
Well, I'll put it in I'll put it in the Images and Videos channel. Yeah. I've got no idea what happened, but my Anaconda, for some reason, when I recalled it, just got stuck floating in midair and opened up the hatch. I just couldn't get in it.
Yeah, I've seen that happen, and I think it's because, and again, I'm not saying it's right, but if you look, that big mountain that's back behind it, it can't land where you are, and it thinks it can, and so I think that's what it's doing. Right, like it's trying to land there, but its ass end is going to hit that the edge of that little hill, I would say, right?
Well, I spent about half an hour trying to get back into it, and it just kept repeatedly doing that. Until I finally got the slightest landing point.
My issue with this is that should work anyway. Like,
well, it should have been smart enough. Yeah.
But I think your ship just should be able to hover above the ground and get into it.
Okay. I think you. Yeah. All right. I would certainly argue that your ship should be able to hover and drop your SRV. Right.
Yeah, but that's one thing I absolutely want, like being able to drop your SRV.
Yeah, I could maybe say that it couldn't pick it up just because of, like tractor beams or whatever you want to call it. I maybe would give them that, but the fact that we can't just drop it. I mean, look, the SRVs have jump thrusters on them, right? So drop me wherever I am, I'll start firing my thrusters so I don't hit the ground too hard. Right.
I mean, let's think about it. Even Mass Effect, you could throw your shuttle out the end of it. You could throw that car out the end of your ship while it was flying forward, and it would land perfectly fine.
Yeah. Right.
And yet, our fancy 3304 surface recon vehicles with jump jets can't drop.
Yep. Totally agree. Right. So yeah, if we. Wow, we've got a lot in here today. Nice. If we go back to a little bit, I'm curious, since we've had quite a bit of new folks join, to those that have jumped in and stuff, what are you guys' thoughts, just in the simple, if you've been away from the game, or if you have friends that, that are away from the game, is this update something or enough that to bring you back, or for you to try to talk your friends in coming back?
No. That's my simple answer. What they've done is they've taken a stick, put a carrot on the end, and dangled it in front of us, saying, "Oh, look at what we're giving you in Q4," and then giving us just disappointments in Q2.
Yeah,
because the Krait is such a nice ship. I cannot fault it. But the Challenger, it looks good. It's better than the Chieftain, but that's all it's got going for it. Really, there's nothing fancy about it. There's nothing new about it. All it is a slightly better Chieftain.
It doesn't.
Right. Well, I'm going to pair it. I think I'm going to pair it egregious, and that is, too many ships. I start feeling like it's StarCraft or Star Citizen, where they're just throwing out ships. But why not spend the time on some major gameplay issues rather than? I mean, ships are nice, but there's some big things that have been missing over the last just years that we really want. That would be such a big thing if we brought it out. Oh, don't even talk about space legs. Oh my god,
legs. Fuck space legs.
But there's at least a dozen examples of what people would like better, right? It's like, gee, could we multi-crew as well as group up and have, better community missions, small storylines, whatever. I mean, just expand the game. You've been a flight simulator or space simulator for so long, and that's what turns away my friends. I can't get people to come back here because they're like, yep, it's a new paint job, same game, and I'm bored.
Right.
And it's up to
I would say that, like, the base that I'm at right now, and sorry for stream that I just went into VR. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to log out and back in. It's all fucked up. Why give us? I would much rather have new of this base I'm about to land at. Drive around. I would rather have more of these than the Challenger. Right.
Yeah.
This is something to go do. This is something to go see. The cockpit of the Challenger is the same. It flies basically the same. It's. I mean, all of it is basic. Oh, there's a Thargoid here, I think. No, there is. Look at that.
Uh-oh.
Look at that. Hey there, Mr. Thargoid, buddy. That's a nice little surprise. And is he he's scanning my ship. Look at that.
He's coming closer.
Look at that. Should I shoot him with my SRB turret?
No, because you will get blown up almost immediately by a fog.
Oh, I want to shoot him. I want to shoot him with my turret just to see what happens.
He will blow up your ship before blowing up.
I only care because I don't want to have to fly all the way back. Oh,
Yeah.
check that out. Now he's scanning the base. Oh, this is actually pretty slick.
Yeah. Now, could you imagine that much more playable? It's like, hey, Thargoid's looking for Thargoid materials in other ships based on the storyline.
Yeah, like he's here grinding himself, isn't he?
Yeah,
that's all
I bet you if you had some alloys, it'd be a whole different day.
Yeah, do you want me to explain what actually was going on with the gold rush? Because I don't think anyone's really explained what was happening with it.
Oh, sure.
So it was discovered, well, I'd say just after the Q2 release. I mean, I only found out about it earlier this morning from the Outer Rim Outcast Discord. And basically someone was just saying, right, head to this system, buy all of this stuff, and then go to Outbreak Industrial System and just sell them using the missions. And that's when we discovered how absolutely broken it is. Starting off, without rep, it was about 6 or 7 million for the mission. Which seems a bit iffy, but okay, reasonable I suppose. And then when you get allied...
Oh shit, look at this. Well, hold on, sorry. It's shooting at the ground.
Huh.
What the hell is it shooting at? I don't think there's anything over there. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but this is actually pretty fucking sweet, I gotta admit.
That is.
It's just shooting at the structure here.
Yeah, but what is it shooting?
I don't know what it thinks it's shooting at.
No, I mean, like, what weapon is it shooting?
It's shooting that's the standard weapon, right? That's that's the standard weapon. I just don't know why it's shooting or what it thinks it's shooting, other than just attacking the base, which, again, I gotta admit, it's fairly slick. It'd be slick if the base was actually taking some damage, right? But apparently, you know what? We need to build our ships of whatever this sign is made of. Because this sign is apparently impervious to Thargoid attack. Right? Come on, let's build our ships out of this stuff.
Yeah, you gotta have an FDev tag on it.
Oh, I want to shoot him. I'm so tempted to. I mean, I've kind of seen everything there's to see here, so...
Alright, I'm getting into my Python.
Yeah, again, forgive me for kind of sidetracking the conversation here for a second.
Oh, that's fine.
It's just kind of
quite interesting, actually. The Thargoid shooting the floor for no reason.
It just keeps shooting the ground. Well, let's see what happens.
I wonder if its little AI script is so busy that you could come and like shoot it before figured out how to aggro.
Oh, yep. Look at that. It's hurting me. When I got in its line of fire. All right, let's get out of there since it's killing me.
What is?
Yeah, what does it think it's shooting at, I wonder? What does it think it's doing?
What are you doing?
I'm at this new planetary base that, if you see, it's all creepy and stuff, like the Thargoids, it's like the Thargoids have been here to attack it, yet nothing is, oh, these things spawn shit. Although nothing is here that's that I can do anything with. I mean, there's a data beacon here, but that's kind of it. Can I scoop that up?
I have a theory. The Thargoids set up stuff on the ground, and then they like swoop in and suck up whatever it is that the barnacles create, right?
Yeah.
So what happens if these mining sites are on similar ground that they would normally set up?
That's an interesting theory. That's an interesting theory. I'll give you that. Yeah.
The communication beacons
and that's why
it's actually an interesting story.
Well, let me do that. That's why there's a mining outpost here, because whatever's underneath this would be essentially the same as a barnacle site. And that's what your theory is?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Okay, so there's 4 of them here. Let me scan all 4 of them, and then we'll I guess read the story. These aren't Something screwed up.
It's
my
a
VR
voice
again.
log, actually.
Oh, it is a voice log. Okay. Well, let's
Yes.
scan all of them so we can listen along real quick. Where are the others? There we go.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing the missions for the Gold Rush and getting about 300 million each time we went back and filled up again. It was quite ridiculous. I mean, 90 units of a material was giving 45 million credits.
Yeah, that's absurd, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, and again, arguably broken. Now it's it's a shame that we have to / choose to do that because of how broken things are, right? So yeah, and so actually, let me jump back out of VR. I'm gonna go. Wow, did I just see Sige has come online? I could not have read that right. I thought I saw him. In
I
chat.
don't think you read that right, mate.
I did not see in game Sige has come online.
Let's face it, that's impossible, right?
It's got to be. It's got to be. Sige has come online. Look at that. Oh my God! Somebody mark the date and the time.
Time noted.
Okay, so yeah, actually, I am gonna.
You know, I came online.
Why'd you come
I've
online?
got billions sitting in the bank. I was
Dude.
going to just come in,
Check
buy
out the new
those two
ships.
ships, fly around in them in 5 minutes, and then
Yeah,
leave.
yeah, all right, that's fair, right? So hey, wait a minute. So you proved the point that 3.1 is bringing players back to the game.
For about 5 minutes.
For about 5
Oh
minutes.
yeah,
because, you know.
fuck right. So here's what I'm going to do really quickly, just for the stream, since we do still have 60 folks or 70, actually 75 folks watching. I'm going to just deafen myself in Discord for a minute, so you guys can keep chatting because I don't want to make you shut up. But since these are voice logs, I'm going to mute really quickly and then let the voice logs play, and then I'll come back to the conversation. So give me just a second, guys. I'll be back here in just a moment. Okay.
Extraction was up to 650 tons a day, but I've had to put operations on hold. An excavator unearthed something in one of the shafts. Looks like some kind of ancient monument, I guess. Almost like an underground temple. I'm no expert, but it looks pretty damn old. I'd be surprised if this thing is human. Some of the guys suggested bulldozing the thing and carrying on with operations, but I'm not senior enough to make that call. I asked HQ to send someone to evaluate the find. We could do with a xenoarchaeologist, really, but they'll probably just send a couple of suits, then tell us to flatten the place. You know, this could be an important find, but everything's about the bottom line with those guys. This is an emergency report. The site is under attack. Half my crew is dead and the rest of us have taken shelter underground. I can hear explosions on the surface. Hopefully we'll be safe down here. The monument must have sent a message, acting like a beacon and bringing them down on top of us. Whatever they are, they seem damned angry. We should have demolished that thing when we had the chance. Mayday, Mayday. If anyone can hear this, I'm in Area 17F. Temperature is close to freezing. People have started going missing. I was in communication with an excavation crew in 16P, but they went dark a little while ago. I sent one of the foremen to check it out, but he hasn't come back. Looks quiet on the surface now, but that doesn't put me at ease. They could be down here with us, picking off the survivors one by one. If anyone receives this message, inform system authorities immediately. And make sure they send support ships. Whoever is out there means business. Jenkins couldn't take it anymore down here in the freezing dark, so he went up to the surface. I was on comms with him when he reached the top. He saw something that scared him half to death. Then the comlink went dead. Something's waiting for us up there. Or worse still, it's down here looking for us. Either way, I'm not going down without a fight. I've rigged explosives around the monument with trip switches at 2-meter intervals. I'm looking at that thing right now. It's pulsating, like it's talking in some alien language, telling them to come and get us. But I'm gonna shut it up for good. 200 pounds of premium grade explosives should do the trick.
All right, that was fairly cool, actually. Let me jump back in channel with everybody.
built in, and it has, and it has extra power for only mining shields, right? So now all of a sudden you've differentiated that in some way, right?
And by the way, I just jumped back in, guys.
With combat ships,
continue, but
with combat ships, it'd be great if it was like, this is more of a laser boat, and it's more laser efficient, and this is more of a projectile. I mean, if they started making distinctions, at least there'd be small distinctions in the ships that you could utilize. But I guess to everybody's point, right now it's a new ship using the same old modules that we can just, how many more ways can you slice that thinly slice that cheese, if you?
I think they've actually diminished some of the differentiation that existed already. Since now NPCs are attacking modules, it makes playing a hull tank a lot less appealing.
It sure does. Yeah, I'm jumping in a little late here, but when we were talking about the stream, and I haven't gone to do NPC combat yet, but in a way, I don't think hull tanks are generally a good idea for NPC combat anyway, since hull doesn't regen and shields do. And I do think it's cool, actually, that they're making it more difficult and they're doing that. And do you guys know what, I asked this on stream, and it didn't seem like I got a good answer. Do you guys know what skills the NPCs have to be to do that? Like does an expert NPC do it, or does only a deadly?
I think they'll all do it, but they'll be more efficient at it. To say, like, an elite will be able to pinpoint your power plant, sort of thing, whereas sort of a deadly would hit modules, but not exactly individuals to do maximum damage.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's from my own testing, but I haven't really done much in depth into it.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Still want to know what and by the way, did you guys, I'm assuming you guys were chatting, if you guys didn't hear the logs, you should, I can play them again later, or you guys should, rewind the stream or something, because I think after listening to the logs, I think you're absolutely right in your theory that there is something more here, and that's either the base was here and we happened to find something, or the base got put here because there was something here. But regardless, because what it talked about is that when they were excavating for something, which made it sound like they weren't necessarily doing that first, but when they were excavating for something, they found some what did they say, like ancient monument is what they thought it might be, right? And they didn't know what to do with it. They had to go call for somebody from corporate, basically, or headquarters, to decide what to do. And then whoever it was up above, we assume the Thargoids, obviously attacked. And and then at the very end, they were gonna okay, fuck this, we're getting some explosives and just blowing all this shit up, right? So.
Yeah, was that electricity crackling on the Thargoid there that I saw?
You mean from just now from mine?
Yeah.
Not that I just was seeing it firing at the planet. I wasn't seeing anything more than that, right? Although it's holding.
Yeah, well, it's just hovering there. It looked like it had electricity crackling on its sort of engine pylons, if they are.
Well, and it's sitting here still enough that I might even be able to get nice and close to it and get some.
Is that mist corrosive at all?
Oh shit! I think it's pissed off at me now. Sorry, time to go. Yeah, it's pissed off at me. And it's got me mass locked too. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
I didn't shoot you. Get away from me. Okay, I can jump now. Actually, I can high wake.
Oh, it's got shield breach attacks as well.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's been true since the beginning. I just lost my shields. Shit. I'm at 80%, 72%. We're 64, 57. We're about to say, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. Woo, just barely.
Out as quickly as you
Yeah,
can.
just barely. I'm at 44%. Right. So yeah, they've always had shield breach. They've always done, like phasing. Basically, they do hull damage through shields. Right. So apparently, I did get too close when I wanted to give him a little, as Yamix would probably say, a little rectal exam or something. So that was exciting. Okay. So now we'll actually, head to the new site. And what I'm going to do, guys, just for the stream, just set expectation. I'm going to go ahead and head to the news that crashing account I was just trying to find, because I'm now, determined to find it. And then let's turn that off. And then in fact, Yamix and I are going to work on, he does those ship review videos. We're going to do one together on the Challenger, and so he's got limited time today to talk about it. So I need to go chat with him here in just a little bit. So anyway, what was the conversation that I missed while I was enjoying the logs?
It was basically along the lines of that FDev are adding ships that are basically the same as what we've already got, just with a different coat of paint. I mean, as much as the Krait is a unique design, it's just a Python light. Like it does combat slightly better because it's got the fighter bay and such. But what's different between that and the Python?
It's got one different module. I just watched Down to Earth review it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very minor, and I think it flies much better than the Python, right? It's much faster.
Oh, it absolutely does. It absolutely flies better than the Python. But I mean, there's still really not that much different between the Krait and the Python other than the design.
No, I mean, that said, I would say the differences are it flies better, it has the fighter bay, and I need to confirm with the shield boosters and stuff that it can have much stronger shields than the Python can, right? Where the Python gets more armor, less DPS, far less maneuverable, right? So I think for combat, to me, the Krait, well, it is definitely a multi-role. It is much, much better suited for combat than the Python is. Full stop.
Yeah,
and better
absolutely.
jump range, right? And better jump range, right? With the
Now, from a cargo perspective, though.
From a cargo perspective, I haven't checked, but I would almost assume, well, the Krait does have the Type 6 slot that I don't think the Python has. I wonder which are bigger.
It has one less than the Python.
Oh, does it? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Python's got three. The Python has 3 class 6.
Okay,
the,
okay.
Krait has 2.
Okay.
So
then
Python's
yeah,
still a little bit better for a mid.
cargo. Sure.
Yeah, for cargo shuttling and defending itself.
Well, and I've always said, why do we have the Type 6 is small, the Type 9 is large, and the Type 7 is large? Like, why wasn't the Type 7 a medium class? Like, why don't we have a medium class cargo ship?
They converted to the metric system.
It's the same as the Imperial ships. You've got the Eagle, small. Courier, small.
Yep,
Courier,
it's small. Yep.
Clipper, large. Cutter, large. The Clipper should be a medium.
Yep.
But those giant wings that don't need to be that large make it a large.
Yep. Nope, that's
just
totally true.
Just give us a way to fold them in slightly so that we can land on a medium pad and I'll be happy.
Yep.
Well, I
absolutely.
also think, and having worked in the game industry before, it's always funny to watch who gets to design the ships, because there's always a thumb wrestle between a game designer who's designing ships for utility purposes and an artist who is designing the ship for artistic purposes, right? And it's interesting to see how to me it seems like they have artists make their ships because they're stylistically different or very similar, but they have similar stylistics in that piece, but utility wise or functionally wise, some of them are just like, what did you do, right? Why is that there? So it's an interesting to see that, where if you like Star Citizen, I think it's the opposite. It's like they build ships around concepts.
Yeah.
Like this
Well,
is a race
and
ship. This
fortunately, with everything but the Alliance ships, we've been stuck with the lore of the game, giving us ships that have to, the Krait has to look the way it does because of the limitations Braven had 30 years ago when the first Elite game came out, right? And I think it's cool to call back to lore, but I think it's silly too limiting to me in a way.
I mean, to be fair, the Krait, it looks like such a nice ship, though, the way it is.
It does.
I hate it.
It looks like this. It looks like the sort of ship you'd actually see if this was 3304.
The biggest complaint I have with it, the biggest thing I don't like about it, is what I consider retarded looking. Oh, I'm in the wrong goddamn system again. Is the retarded looking, I keep calling them nipples, or the antennas that are on the winglets or whatever, right? To me, those are just horribly stupid looking, right? They're, if they were functional, if that had been where the hard points were or something, maybe, but the fact that they're just like antenna or something, I'm not a fan, right? I beat it in the eye that beholder. But what was that?
I love seeing the guns on the side.
Oh yeah. Oh man, the medium hardpoint placement and those two, I keep calling them pylons, the two right up next to the cabin. Yes, those are awesome. I also want to jump in one in multi-crew and see what the view is like from the two side seats, right? One of the things we talked about on stream, I'm curious about you guys' takes too, which I don't see it in this way, is that they're teasing space legs with that trailer. Right, I don't see that in that trailer and think that's people seeing what they want to see. But what do you guys think?
I think that people are seeing what they want to see with that. But either way, that just makes me want Space Legs more, to be honest. Like that trailer.
Yeah, see, and
Yannick said that wasn't official. Is that official?
Yeah.
What's official?
Well, that trailer. That was an official trailer.
Yeah. I mean,
that trailer was really done very poorly. I would have to agree on that.
Yeah, it was very poor.
Very poor.
Yeah.
The quality of it, not that great. But I will say this: I was in the Krait last night with a friend of mine. We did the multi-crew. I do have to say that I like how the canopy is below the top of the deck, which basically kind of keeps that canopy from being hit from like a straight on kind of thing.
I'll give you that too. Yes.
Now that I like. Now I do have to agree with you. The antenna looking weapon things out on the winglets need to go.
Yeah, I hope there's a ship kit that removes them.
They don't serve a purpose. They're useless, and to me, the way it looks to me is kind of like a barrel, or basically like a I don't know, kind of like a laser thing or whatever.
It looks like the wings on an X-wing fighter, the little laser, antenna.
Exactly.
Laser. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And I think that's.
Right.
I'm guessing that's what maybe harkened back to the original Krait, like in the original game, was that where the hard points were. Right, I don't know from that old animation.
That's, in the original game, Elite, way back '84.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where the actual weapons were. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, another thing too, which I don't know if it's been stated in. I was watching the stream. I watched the stream from 3 different views or whatever. But anyway, the inside of it is laid out pretty good. I've got to say that. As far as in the either the two sides or the captain's chair, the way it's the cabin's laid out is great. Now, I don't know if any of y'all actually noticed in the back on the right side passenger. If you look just to the left, that little bar there, they actually have a coffee maker with a cup and like 2 little biscuit scones, and on the front of the little coffee maker, there's like a little pad there that has coffee, hot chocolate, something else, and then there's like 4 or 5 options, and one of them is called a mystery juice. What in the heck is a mystery juice? And then if
you're saying it actually says that on there?
Yes, it actually says that on there.
Oh, that's hysterical.
It says coffee, and then hot chocolate, and then there's like 2 or 3 other options, and that last option on the pad is mystery juice.
I'm calling it now. We know what Giannis is going to say it is.
So anyway, and
That's
then
not much of a prediction.
right, and if
No,
you
it's
look
not.
on the left passenger seat, if you look just to the right on the counter next to it, there is, it's not really a bobblehead, but it is a bobblehead of the original Krait MK1 on a little stick on the counter.
Somebody just actually asked that in stream chat, and I saw that too, which I think is a cool little, that's definitely a cool little Easter egg in my opinion.
And as far as like, how everything else is laid out inside the cabin, it's great. It's very roomy. Now I do have to say, I wonder when I looked up in the cabin on the right side, that open panel that's up top with the wires coming through it, kind of makes you wonder what's up above it, but it looks just to be like an open space. And like I said, I did a lot of flying around and it's very maneuverable. And as far as that goes, but I also would say, to me, it feels more like a multi-role ship. It doesn't really do any one thing great. I would say probably, like y'all were saying, Python, maybe? Kind of Pythonish. It serves it like a multi-role. It really doesn't really do anything great.
Right.
It was designed to be like a slightly more combat-oriented Python. Really.
Right, and it is more suited for the combat as far as the way that they've got it laid out with the military compartments and that kind of thing. Now, I will say it has a very, very good jump range for what it is. If you totally gut it and use it just strictly for, is it like a jump ship, like a jump conduit kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was, and this is not completely, grade 5 or anything, but I got it up to, I think it was a grade 2, either grade 2 or grade 3. I was getting somewhere in the range of like 42, 43-ish on a jump.
With the FSD booster?
No FSD booster. That was
because
just
grade 5, without the
engineered to
FSD
grade
booster,
2.
it should max out at like 43 stripped.
Okay, yeah. See, I didn't have the FSD booster. It was just
with the FSD booster, it'll do like right at 53, 50, right?
Yeah,
Maybe it's just shy of 54.
Actually,
Right,
I was
this is
one of the
just
first.
engineered through Felicity at grade
Yeah.
2, I believe.
Yeah,
It was right around like 42, 43-ish.
A whole bunch of the fuel reps in the
yeah,
chat
that would be.
said they want to use it as a ratting ship.
I've got my crate already designed for it. It's got a 44 light year jump range with a booster.
Okay.
I've already been doing rescues in it. It's
And
actually,
limpets
it's actually
and-
really, really good. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, I was the first rat to do a rescue with it. It's actually quite a surprisingly good ship for it. It's very nippy, and it's got a surprisingly long jump range for a ship. I mean, I wouldn't use it outside the bubble. That will always be my Anaconda for that. I mean, 70 light year jump
Right.
range on that thing. Let's be honest,
Right.
it's never going to get
Maybe now.
replaced. No, I've got mine at 70 because I've got a few more modules that make it
Right.
a little bit more
Right.
survivable.
Yeah, if it's not gutted. You're right. Gutted, you can get an Anaconda to right below
Yeah,
84.
absolutely gutted. Yeah,
Icon, you can get it up there around like 75, 80-ish.
yeah.
But for the crate, for what it is, I would say it would serve more of a multi-purpose role ship than it would just be, I mean, yeah, it may be more fitted toward combat, but to me, it seems like it could be set in more of a multi-role. And as far as like the Challenger and the other ship, I would say that the Challenger has basically outdone the other one. It made it kind of a useless ship now. So.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, does anybody plan on using the Chieftain anymore?
No.
No.
I sold it as soon as the Challenger came out because there's really nothing the Chieftain can do that the Challenger can't do better.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll keep it for PvP, but that'll be it.
Wait, so you
Although
think the
even for
you think the
PvP.
Chieftain? I think the Challenger for PvP is better.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
the
I mean, I'll
Challenger-
buy one at
Challenger's
some
better
stage, but
PvP.
I don't know. I just want it out because I'm lazy.
I mean, the good thing
No,
is
the
if you've got a
challenge,
PvP chieftain, it's super easy to swap everything over since everything's the same sizes, right? So you know
the only
that's
thing that's different is that large hard
Basically,
point.
it's
Right.
the challenge is basically just the chieftain with a couple of cut and paste mods to it.
pretty much
All they do is they just took the engines off the winglets and moved them to the top of the
move to
ship.
move them to the ass, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, makes sort of more sense from a physics standpoint. But I mean, what was the point? All you've made is a
Right.
chieftain,
Right.
slightly better.
Right.
To
Right.
me, the thing that bothers me about that ship, and from a aesthetics standpoint, is the landing gear on the rear pods that come out of the engine bay.
Yeah,
Those-
yeah. Where does that fit, and where do the engines go?
Right, and
Right.
it should, to me,
Yes.
it should come out from underneath the ship instead of the engine pod.
I
It
agree
just
with
makes
that.
sense.
Yep, I agree with that. Right.
Hold on.
And you know
Actually, hold on. I don't think they're coming out of the pod.
they are on the chieftain. They do at least on the rear ones.
Yeah, on the
it
chieftain.
comes out of the pods. I haven't looked on the Challenger yet. I haven't landed it yet.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Challenger. It sort of comes out of the pod, but most of it is lower than the pod itself. It's lowering from the pod. So it's the bottom metal panel of the pod, and it sort of just extends down.
Yeah, but as it folds in, it looks like it folds into the pod, doesn't it?
It looks like it, but I don't think that was what the intention was. I mean, I think it's folding against the pod more than in it. If you look at the design for it.
Maybe they took some of the criticisms to heart.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, that's the one thing that really bothered me about that ship was the fact that the pods, the landing gear come out of those pods where the engine is instead of. To me, it's like that engine, the way that they've got it designed, it takes up that whole space and not just the, half where it takes half the engine, half the landing gear.
If someone wants to hop into the multi-crew with me and take a look at it, because I can't really see it folding up at the same sort of time. Because I've got one currently.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just above this crash site.
I mean,
I get.
I do like the design of the Challenger a little bit more. Like it looks to me a bit like the Pelican from Halo in a way.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. But like I said, to me, the Challenger looks better from an aesthetic standpoint. But I don't know. To me, it.
Well, and something Kvaden just said in chat, that he likes the chieftain with the extra maneuverability granted and the extra large hard point, less damage reduction against large ships. Well, I mean, 2 larges and 1 medium, 1 large and 3 medium is more DPS, right? So I would, and it's more experimental effects that I can have, more various debuffs or whatever, right? So
Right. With
it's still got the
the
small
large
hard
over
point.
the 1 large.
yeah, like
Yeah,
I'm gonna pick
still
the.
got.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's still got the small hard points as well, so you
Right,
can still
right.
run multi-cannons with corrosive and still get the same effect.
Yep.
Basically, you are just getting more DPS from this, even without that large hard point.
Yep.
It's why the Corvette has less DPS than an Anaconda. Because even though it's got an extra huge hard
Right,
point, it's sacrificing a lot more of the smaller hard points
That's
for that
right.
one huge.
That's right. Right, which people are always surprised to see that, that that the Corvette does have, less DPS than the Anaconda, right?
I mean,
For,
the big benefit of the Corvette is how much armor and shields. It's like
course.
the
And
ultimate
it's the
hybrid
maneuverability,
defensive
obvious.
tank.
Right,
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's-
maneuverability. It's got everything that you need.
Right.
It also looks like a warship.
Honestly, the Corvette is one of my favorite designs in Elite right now. It
That's
has to
all.
be my favorite.
That's all I flew was strictly just Corvette. I flew a Corvette, and that's all I did was used it for combat because it was just a tank. And man, it took it, and you could just go and go and go.
So this is what they were talking about now. So at this site, it looks like there are, 2 little Thargoid things here on the ground. At least, like the pea soup thing. It's hard to see what's through this. It doesn't look like anything.
Are these locations on the forum?
You know what? I'll post this one in stream, and I'll put it in the stream chat here, guys, in the live stream text channel. So that's where I am right now, and the crashed anaconda I think is supposed to be like, I don't understand what's at the center of this. It doesn't look like there's anything down there except for spewing, and then there's another. I think the anaconda's over here at this one, because they were only supposed to be like 4 kilometers from each other.
I mean, I've got a question.
Yeah.
The Aspects and the DBX, did they come out after release or when the game was released?
You know, I don't know that I know
the
that.
DBX did, didn't
After. So it came out after.
DBX definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause, I mean, let's just think about this. What does the Diamondback Scout and Asp Scout have that the Aspects and DBX don't have?
Cheaper.
The Scout was
It seems to me-
released first. And
Yeah.
people didn't like it and complained about it, so then they released the DBX.
Right.
Like,
So
in
it
the
was
same
just-
patch, like the
Yeah.
DBX was released in the beta.
Right. Because, I mean, like, it seems like the case that they do a lot of adding ships that are just straight up improvements of the ones that already exist without much difference. But instead of like making the ship slightly better so it's more suited to the role it was supposed to serve. I mean, the
That's
Chieftain was
correct.
supposed to be a Thargoid fighting ship, but there was already ships that could do it better than it already.
Yeah, and I get the Chieftain from a lore perspective of, you know, the Alliance has never had a ship. And I actually like the Chieftain in the sense that I think it looks fantastic, right?
Yeah,
you
like,
know, it's so nice to
there's
get
no fault there.
Yeah, to get a, you know, people have compared it to maybe like a Star Citizen ship, right? And I think that's a very good thing. But you know, but other than that, again, the one that makes me scratch my head is the Challenger, right?
Well, guys, I'm sorry I've got to run, but I've
That's
got a
okay.
doctor's
In fact,
appointment, so
yeah.
we will see y'all next round.
Hope all is well, and I'm gonna actually, I'm gonna have to run here in the next 5 minutes or so. So I'm gonna kind of give the 5-minute warning here. But I do want to find. Okay, so I think the Anaconda is going to be right here in front of me, because I remember in the picture it was right next to this mountain, I think.
Have you gotten to see and fly the Challenger yet, or?
Yeah, I didn't fly it a whole lot last night. I did, like, I jumped in the Krait and did a PvP fight in it first. I then jumped in the Challenger and did a fight in it. And you know, I liked it slightly better than the Chieftain, but only slightly. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I think I'll pick it over the Chieftain. But that doesn't mean, you know, that, but I still don't understand why it exists. Right.
I mean, if they'd made it a large ship or a small ship, I would have been a lot happier.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it's just a Chieftain, but with better stats. That is it.
Right.
The design of it really doesn't have that much different. I mean, they've moved those big engines. Well, they've got rid of the big engines and basically just stuck them on a little wing at the back.
Right.
Here's the
And
other
that's
thing.
the only difference.
It's not something anyone asked for either. Like the
That's-
Krait, everyone's really, really happy about it. But this new Alliance ship, no one wanted it.
Okay, I think this is a case of it's not spawning for me for real now, because I wanted to get right at the exact coordinates.
I mean, I do like that it's a Lakon ship that's not a block. That's the one thing I like about it.
Sure. Well, no, you know, I also, it's down to, it's like they produce these ships and then we have to decide what the functions are. I don't think
Yeah.
they design ships around function. And then when we go, well, this ship is just a ship, but
What can
you
we
know,
do with this?
Y is better, and so why are we going to use X? Right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
too many Y's
Yeah.
in that sentence, but you know, it's like
I
if they design ships around, you know, it's like, oh, hey, look, that's a mining ship, and we all went, that's a mining ship, right? But right now, every ship is nebulous, and we then design it with modules to what we want to be. So
I think whoever designs the functionality of ships needs to be fired.
I
that
think-
person doesn't exist.
I
That's
think they need to
obvious.
play the game.
Yeah, I think they need to hire the person. Then let's let them make a mistake.
Okay, I am on top of the coordinates of where the Anaconda is supposed to be, and I think, you know what I think might have happened, although I see in his screenshot that there is, I think What the hell is... Oh, look at that. There's a crashed SRV. So I'm betting it's supposed to be right here, and it just hasn't spawned in. So let's land and see what happens. So let's get landed.
The thing is, what would you do? Like, what would you make a dedicated mining ship for? Because mining is so nebulous, and everything can do it.
I'd make. I mean, if I was gonna, I'm not saying that. I think you're right. Basically, I think if you're designing a mining ship, to me, it's it's one that has. Hold on a second. That's what it is. Why does the goddamn cargo hatch take so much fucking energy? Sorry, just a little rant there.
Switch it off. Fancy locks.
You switch it off and it turns back on. It switches back on and it resets to priority 3 every single time. I think I would make something that's big. I mean, I think the Type 9 is actually probably the best mining ship, right? You want something big because you want to be able to carry a bunch of stuff. You want great visibility, and you want a bunch of, right up front lasers, right? And the Type 9, fits that, right?
Well, but if you were going to
where I disagree, though. I would say.
But what if the mining ship? You said what would make a different mining ship? What if a mining ship could run mining lasers twice as long as regular lasers, right? What if a mining ship had built-in? I can control 12 collectors without having a collector limit, right? So it would be that ship would obviously, because the innate abilities, be better for mining. Because right now we're always struggling. It's like, okay, look, anything that can hold 4 lasers, or 3, and then I'm going to try to power them and use modules. But if a ship was designed for that, it wouldn't have to tweak it with the modules. It would just do it. It's like, hey, somebody designed this ship to shoot mining lasers and to have collector limpets so that you could have cargo bays so that you could store stuff. What a concept!
You're talking about ship traits that now.
Well, but
yeah, that's ship traits.
To make a ship actually different and have its own sort of benefit to using it. And I mean, you could also use that as a salvaging ship, for example, as well as just a mining ship.
Oh god, wouldn't it be nice to have salvaging tractor beams so you wouldn't have to chase those shit? But yeah, absolutely.
I like the idea. I just see the problem being the same thing as I always see when they try and do something, which is their response is never subtle. It's always break glass.
Yeah, well, there's what we think about and what we want, and then what actually we get a lot.
Yeah.
And and then wouldn't it be nice if that mining ship existed? Because then the multi-role ships would be the masters of none. They'd be the jack of all trades, but they wouldn't be as good as a mining ship. But they could be one, right? And there would be advantages to that. So it's anyway.
On the topic of mining ships, the Type 9 is still not as good as the
cutter. Yeah,
exactly.
I was about to say that.
Yeah,
True.
The cutter is the pinnacle of mining ships, and that's the problem.
Well, save for the one thing I would say where the Type 9 beats the cutter in mining is you don't have to grind to unlock the Type 9.
That is very true.
Right.
Except it still costs 100 million credits, and that takes a long time to get from scratch.
Yeah,
sure, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's but still, I mean, wait.
Yeah.
You're complaining about the cost of the Type 9. You're saying the cutter's better. Hold on.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You can grind for the rank for the cutter at the same time as you get money. So it's sort of it's 6 and 2 freeze basically. You're still grinding no matter what. If you want a cutter, you're gonna grind for a cutter at the rank at the same time as you're grinding for credits anyway.
Well, it depends if you're doing the typical. Well, if you're doing the typical, like Sothis, Seos, Nagalkin, whatever their system is, grind, you're not really making credits at that. You're getting rep really fast, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I did Seos and Sophis while also getting credits when I was starting out, because there was the sightseeing passengers you could do there.
Okay.
It got you Federation rank and also quite a bit of money as a starter player.
Yeah, and okay, then that's different, right? Yeah. Because I've done it with just the data delivery missions, right? Boom data delivery missions between it.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that is the most efficient way. That is the most efficient way. But Seos and Sophis, it's gone. There's no point in going there. There's 3 other systems you can use that are better than it now, because they added so many stations to Seos and Sophis. It's just not viable.
The
Right?
color
Same
is a
like with
bitch to get.
you know, just saying, oh yeah, remember Robingo and
Rubingo?
Yeah.
Rubigo. Bingo!
When I got
tomato,
my cutter,
tomato, whatever.
I'm just giving you shit.
Oh, that's not the other one. Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of it now. There was another system that older players will remember as well that used to be abused.
There was Quince, there was Seventree and Draconis, there was Rubigo, Sonos and Simos.
Quince, that was it.
I mean,
the Quince suicide winder grind.
Yeah, I'm going to say the suicide. It would have been so nice if they'd have put a sidewinder graveyard on one of those planets.
Right. I mean, like, let's be honest, Quince needs a suicide winder graveyard because so many people flew up there.
Yeah, exactly.
that's
Right.
too self-aware.
Well, and that would have been, it would have been great if they had done that and been a little self-aware. But like you just said, that is too self-aware, sadly. Well, before I call it a day, and by the way, Discord, depending on who's around, I can't imagine I'm going to talk. I've got to chat with Yamix for more than I don't know. I can handle chatting with Yamix for more than a half hour or so. So when I'm done chatting with him, I'll come back here to Discord before I head out for a little bit. But stream, I'm going to call this here in just a few minutes. I wanted to throw it out to chat and for for the guys here in Discord, like what other things, let's try to end on a positive note. What things are you guys happy about? What did you find as a surprise? Like I found the specifically the Guardian Shield booster as a big surprise that I think is a very potentially welcome surprise because fortunately, we needed to buff shields because they were getting pretty, hull tanks were getting pretty OP against shields. So that's definitely a good thing. What do you guys think of the other stuff?
I'm absolutely pleased that they brought back the Guardian frameshift drive booster as an optional internal.
Without a doubt.
Because
totally agree.
Without a doubt, it being an optional internal has made it so much more viable for a lot of builds, especially from the fuel rat side of things. Because I could stick that in my Anaconda for a flat 10.5 increase and not sacrifice anything else.
Look what I finally just found. Sorry, I just finally found that damn account.
Yeah. I can stick it on my Krait and still be able to use 2 shield boosters and 2 heatsink launchers without having to sacrifice one of those slots for the booster.
Yeah. Well, and just the fact that, to everybody's and to every Corvette in the game, potentially, just every ship in the game big ship just got a 10 light year jump range boost.
Which for some of them is almost 30 to 50%.
Oh, exactly. It's funny from a lore perspective. For me, I almost find it odd that it's just a fixed amount.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I wish they would have.
I'm kind of glad. Right.
I'm happy that it's not. I can see the point that maybe it should be based on your weight and such, but I like that it's a fixed amount because it makes it viable on basically every ship. So you've got the choice of sacrificing armor or something in that class 5 slot for a 10.5 jump range increase.
I guess what I would have, I wish it would have been flat for everyone. In other words, there are plenty of small that don't have any legs, but the problem is you only get a 5 light year boost with the smaller one, you get 10 with the bigger one. Where so that means the big ships are going to get the bigger jumps. It's I would love a couple of my smaller ships to have a little bit more legs.
Well, let's take the aspects for example. That thing already has 50, 60 light year jump range.
Yeah, you can get it to 60.
One of the better ones. Let's talk Imperial Courier. Let's talk Fruit Lance. Yeah, Sidewinder. No jump range.
Those are combat ships still though. They are still combat ships. And things like the Corvette, it's got such a small jump range that 10.5 is only bringing it up on par with other smaller combat ships in terms of their jump range when they're fully A rated.
Right, but you're talking lore now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if there was lore, I would hope that there would be some support behind that, right?
Yeah.
I hear you. I totally agree with you on that one.
It's also talking from a gameplay perspective, though. I mean, the Corvette, a fully A-rated Corvette. I'll quickly check mine. I think it's an 18 light year jump range or something very small like that.
Right. So why does the Corvette have such a smaller jump range than the Anaconda?
Oh no, hold on. My Corvette has a jump range of exactly 19.5 light years.
Right. I got Yeah.
The reason the Corvette has such a dull jump range compared to the Anaconda is the Anaconda was brought in very, very early, and they didn't understand what they were doing. They gave it a weight of only 400.
Well, it's not just that though. It's also because in lore the Corvette has a shrunk down FSD because it's such a thin ship, whereas the Anaconda is big and chunky.
The problem is that they have written down that they use the Corvette for like long range reconnaissance. I'm like, really? In this thing?
Yeah, it would be designed like a ship like that. You would use it for long range reconnaissance. You wouldn't use a small ship like an Aspect for extremely long range reconnaissance because it doesn't have the same sort of ability to remain out there in the black for a long time. Whereas a ship like an Anaconda, you could store so much supplies on there that it would work as a long range reconnaissance ship.
Well, let's replace reconnaissance with explore, because reconnaissance goes out, gets information.
Even then, as an exploration ship, the Anaconda would still do better than an Aspect, for example.
Oh yeah, absolutely, agree. Well, let's just say they could do the same, but you could have more people on an Anaconda for bigger exploration, where an X is a smaller, you have a smaller crew. So different mission, you'd have different mission types, right? Which would be cool if we had different mission types for them. I mean, lore-wise, we can go a lot of great places, but unfortunately, gameplay-wise, then we're trying to fit squares in round holes, right? It's like, well, God, how does this work? I love the lore. I mean, the way we're talking, I wish the game worked that way.
By the way, just quickly, I'm gonna derail the chat just a little bit, just because I am gonna head out here shortly, and you guys can absolutely continue to debate this or discuss it. I wanted to as I'm kind of closing here, I did want to say that. So I just got to the crashed Anaconda that I was looking for so long, and quickly I'm gonna say, holy shit, is it awesome! Because not only does it have 3 cargo racks that spawn the same, grade 3 and 4 minerals, and again, there is no grade 5 minerals, so these are as good as you get. Granted, so far, each of the 3 cargo racks has only given me 1. Not one of them yet has given me 2, so potentially it's lower in that sense. But there's 3 comms control things here, and I'm scanning them on... Oh, a Thargoid just showed up and is scanning me and scanning the site. There's 3 comm control things that I'm able to scan on every log, and I've gotten crack out of them. I don't think I've gotten meth yet, but I'm getting fantastic data out of all 3. Like this one, I just got adaptive, crack, and atypical, which are all great, especially the crack materials, right? And so the fact that not only am I sitting here grinding out minerals like I'm normally going to do, right, but that I'm getting 3 data beacons that I can scan at the same time in that same log, wow, is
and it looks pretty flat,
right? And it's very flat, and it's very easy
as well.
It's very easy to get around here, right? And yeah, it's antimony, tellurium, ruthenium, selenium, or not selenium, and I haven't gotten tungsten yet, but I'm guessing I will, right? And so this is, I gotta say, pretty damn fantastic, given that it's combining both data and and minerals, right, in one location. And so so this is a very, very good find, right?
Did you finally put the final coordinates down, X?
I did. So let me make sure that I've got them again, and I'll paste them in one more time. But it should be 11613 11.0 95.6. So it's a little different than what I posted. 5.6. Let me post it in now that I've got it exactly right. So I just posted it in stream chat, and I just posted it in live stream channel for you guys, right? And like, for example, here's some ruthenium. Again, this is a welcome a welcome thing, right? Because as I said, it's the data here that I'm floored that we're getting. Right. Let me scan this one last time. Adaptive encryptors, atypical encryption, and I don't remember exactly what grade those are specifically, but it's certainly better. In fact, last night I mentioned this on the stream with the guys. I did the I did the installation hacking, right? And the installation hacking was, it was cool. It was fun to do. Not only was it fun to do, but on every log, I got data out of it, and I got good data, and I got it not as fast as this, but I was getting it faster than any other method I've seen. So in general, I think this is a good update. I would call it chapter 1.1 instead of chapter 2, though, right? And this from Diagondry. Hold on, I'll plot it for chat. Just asked.
Have you hit a mega ship for data before?
Yeah, I have. It's been a long time, so I can't swear. How much better it is now, or worse, or different. It's been a long time since I've done it, right?
I did mainly that recently. And I was visiting a data trader every 20 minutes.
Okay, because of how much you were getting?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
because I was just getting rid of the grade 5s for other grade 5s.
Yeah, gotcha. So anyway, guys, like I said, please, don't leave on my account. I'll be back kind of as soon as I finish with Yamix, and in Discord. Chat, thanks for staying in so long with me today, guys. It's been a fun one, and I'll look forward to see everybody Tuesday night. I'm not sure exactly what we'll do Tuesday night, other than, for those that don't know, Commander Ascorbius, I think is how you say it, he does kind of cinematic videos or storytelling videos, but he does full motion capture and lip syncing stuff using like an Xbox Kinect camera. I mean, he does some incredible stuff, and only has like 1,500 subs, sadly. We were talking the other day, I can't remember who I was talking with about this, but the sub to skill ratio between him and I is ridiculous, given how low his is. Oh, and don't worry, Apostolakis, we'll definitely do CQC toward the end of it, as always.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a regular. But Ascorbius wants to, I asked him if he wanted to chat. We might actually do the stream Tuesday night earlier. I'll post an update if we're going to, because I think he's GMT. And he actually, CQC would fit in well because he doesn't really do much combat at all. So he wanted to do some like combat flight training a little bit. So potentially that's what we're going to do. And so I just need to make sure his schedule lines up and we can get it, together, right? But we're going to more than likely do something like that. And then, actually, I didn't, it got commented on at the very end, I'll probably do a quick little, if you guys want to do CQC now, that's great, go for it. I will say that for guys on stream, if you would like to join some of these guys in CQC, the links for the Discord are all over the place. Come in and join them. I might come back and join you guys. I'll admit, I got like 3 hours sleep last night before the stream, so I'm pretty fucking exhausted. But the last thing I wanted to say is just, it's a little cheesy when creators and stuff say stuff like this, but thanks so much to everybody, because I did hit 10,000 subs this morning. I remember when I started this thing, I remember when I got to 1,000, and it was okay, so at that you can monetize and all that good kind of stuff, right? And I remember that first 1,000 was like, I didn't think that would ever even happen when it did, right? And then when it was 2 and then 3 and 5, and now the fact that it's 10 is just amazing to me. To have come that far in 3 months, in just under 3 months, is really fantastic. And I joked yesterday on stream that if somebody had hit it while I was on stream, I was going to give 2 shipped kits, or as many skins, 6 skins if they wanted it. I am going to do something like that. Probably I'll do a video thanking and then pick somebody. I'm probably just going to randomly go through the subscribers, and sorry if you're here in Discord, you can't win, and pick some random subscriber and and figure out some little giveaway as a thank you, right? Because it is pretty great to hit that number, like we have. So thanks again to everybody. I appreciate it, and I will definitely jump back in Discord when I'm done, and I look forward to see everybody on stream Tuesday night.